Mandrabama Samaya Sado Gumbo Dani Mije Mumbai Damselene Gakinja Lama Gumbo Jab Sondu Jinzamba Gitu Jishambo Dangi Jenjo Zola Daya Jego Sondu Uta Dangi Lagi Damse Nyamcha Tamshin Tolo Shasu Di Drungi Don Jimen Sotam Je Janshin Tabaram Zedu Suru Duje Samba Gishin Zamba Danji Veri Gifu Yuki Di Drungi Don Tabai no Shikai no Zalvar, the Jekota, Jelon, Tauro Yella, Ogan number. Danam Dante Dursum Guru, Jonante Tabaram, Jumro, Om Bandrasato, Om Bandrasato, Om Bandrasato. Adu Om Bandrasato, Om Bandrasato, Om Bandrasato, Om Bandrasato. Must have hit Jamaica, Om Bandrasato, Om Mix Om Bandrasato. Salanga Paresho, Saji, Buji, Tuji, Mendota, Jing, taking Bandis on Jason, make them go. Namdashin, Najibra, Damguru, Namandala, Bazamic, Samunda, Safarana, Samaya, Yijim, and some point, the Parade, and Julamla, the Sundar Gumba, Toba, Jabam, Joran, Menation, Namgadang, Bindo, Namdor, Zemjen, Samba, Shizon, the Monte by Jiging, Golo, Gordo, so Manjindroan and Gitatang, Simchen, London, Yanga. Zobi Sangi, Komor, Buchela, Chine, Yangabricha, they don't choose someone, send a young to know you, Nibi. Kulon Yanta Bagoni, Sensor, they don't do it, somebody Tabjacho, I went to Banga, Kulon, Banga, Kulon, Heni, Pudunsobanga, Yerashinto, Imbala, Imbresivi, Dami to the south of this December shoes.
So as we begin the teaching, please give rise to the genuine motivation, the authentic motivation of bodhicitta, which is the wish to establish, the resolve to establish all mother sentient beings who are infinite in number as the limits of space, at the level of perfect, complete, and unsurpassed enlightenment, and the thought that in order to do that, I will now listen to this profound teaching and put it into practice. So thus please arouse the vast motivation of bodhicitta. At the same time, please bring to mind the vast skillful means of the Vidyadharas, which is bringing to mind the primordial endowment of the five perfections.
Tene tatanda siji chode ga tawa da bomba chopa sum yobanani tene tak bomba na reduris te bomba tela ya mixam kundu da tavinga la shaba chitang mikte samatan chara mikte samatan chebe sangi ki ko bang mintu pratema ni yobanani tatene nipa mikte samatan chebe sangi mintu pratema setere Tena Layan Chepi Chuki Sanki Dubduni Minda Ichi Lujigum de Lujigi Dari Che Sonte Takwa Tumon Batana Tekshin Lamchu Wombo Tame Kawa Tame Suntu Sutunta Suntuntu Mikchi Sonam Ki Sona Mingme Ishi Ki Soni Jache Jansu Teresa Gushin Tejindu Tejin Wambun Dingi Chame Dun Wambo Tami Chame Sumtu Sosa Musom Masa Pe Sangi Topi Ka Miyajin Tekwa Tumin Ngaki Lamtana Yang Misi Chudukda Misi Dunda Misi Sumso Su Gusum Sakache La Begebe Te Tavike Zowa Shebe Jang Tumung Ke Chugi Tumin Sopa Chimbo Lam Sulmi Sechi Sangi Juba La Tuna Tu Yun Jingwi Sangi Mitopa Tau Mela Gaji Peter Rishik Sangi Dubi Ki Tuini Mindao Vincent Tena Gui Tikbi Chunit Yichitu Lubatang Divu ma order sa ti mi tin so mi da o ji 이치를 아래 이치를 지금 들리지기라 따따 야테 인투가라 야테 테비게 솔와 집이장 투몽 추기 이게 투민 접어 준비 람쯤에 채직상기 두발라 되나 뒤윤 뒤윤지베 상기 미토파다 위 멤버라 거디 베터 레식상기 두 주비 민다오 윤센 때나 유이 택비 슈니 이주 도리바 때당 주위 택비기 주데 투몽 남서 루지 게트비기 계속 공주기 남 겐상엔 간테세 님부에랑 상템베 랑수 메툭친 리우 접바 쳔베 쳔베 랑중기 신딜레 코베나 지방 고몽도 동와터세 네컵람데라 루지기 다다오 레제소서야 하단 디 강승고에서나 책임지게 되네 제비 추기 상기 두드미도 kenapa tidak meserocis tamjik.
So please can everyone look at the prayer and
제비 추기 상기 두드미
page 9, the second line, page 9. Buddhahood is not attained by fabricated dhammas, so please go to this part of the prayer.
제비 추기 상기 두지를 이질루지 군도 루지게 자레스 다지 제거레스 다 제비 추기 상기 두드니 민도 세겐데 간드레스나 딱 노생이 택반에 깔와 정미 야 숨주자 둔다 야 정미 숨수 소순다 네 옹분 딩게 정미 둔다 옹보 되네 그 랍기 정미 숨기 소산에 다저 되네 시지지 바도 용문부 지바 타다바네 상기 고모부 동기요레스 다 상아 두지 택반 나니 자규때 쭈규기 내가 또 깨와 추룩게 되네 그렇게까지 했더니 소사도 장까지 했더니 다시 상기 고모부 됐다 되네 깨와 둔다 다음 나랑서 마하요까지 되네 기대 남이게 나라 시나 양한테네 깨와 둔다 깨와 숨다 진짜기 나와 상계고 간식이라도 아주 좁아 신부경이 되네 깨와 찍어 상계 되고요 이 메시지가 깔된 빼미게 되네 깔와다 된바이나야 로순다 다와스나 상계 되고 다 대외적 온거 영업 저기 되네 똑술 등요 인단 분이신 똑바다 저기 비밀도 진짜야 송이 되가는 디초지 빼미게 살람 그냥 유명한 나니야 이렇게 남긴 바레스 이 병전 tellatene 제비 추기 상기 두드니 민도 세지가나 제나 산에 상기 두드 메레스 베케자데 마레테 윤중창 빼는 저거 친구기 되게 남았대나 지기 상기 메벤도 빨랑 알아서 dinne jagarla tene kombajem dogena kombajem lebu mares lebu to yo kombajem khali khali dogena ko komba sena tene kilometer jafa tombai je tunku res yena ya ta ta dinne kombajem dona ta jagal lebu khai samino meleba marte lebu na ya tene tusu mare to doras ate pe te jendo jebi chugi sangi dubdu nda sata देनो सिंगे जपा छिमो निलम लते शाना तने ची सांगी जु जु मेगेन दो जरेस पेना गाला ज रॉकेट दो द नंबु रेशन निमा चिला तो द शुद्ध टु दिन जिला पेना जागाला ए टु गिन देना तने कंबा जन टु ना गोगे दाव दो दिस इति दिले नि को ते मेंबर ला गबी गिटा जसने ते से चे बिशो के संगे दु दिन मिंदा इचे लोजी गुम दे लोजी के दारेस इचे लोजी गुम से इचे से बने सेम के था जने सेम की छु गुम 인남 냐미고 인남 민남이라 일레치 사이트 이주기 거래. 근데 로 똑비게 수연이 붙는 이주스 거래. 근데 나랑 상하게 나 뛰나 접하신 거라 뛰나 찾게 친구 만주지. 야 되니 그런 막이는 인주게 나랑 상기게 아게 되네 강사가 당마다 파셔서 우마빠게 되네 추기 담에 야 주주스는 탐지가 로지기 검사들이 마도기 리파 코롱이 뭐라 네 되네 니비 본지 말했어요. 대인도 강라 Yichu ki lam sa ki jinjin sem ki yichu sem ki tapo chi ki lam de tila tene kunche longchen rab jab ki chun ki zhen na la jisen ya rangjung la nyam nyam ma to par nyam nyam ni je zila ngon yin jian ju yichu ding sha lo to ni de mari chu bi lam so ta de de kang so re sna yichu ki lam sa ta do yichu lo chi gum di lo chi ki dar re se do o de yichu ki lam de tene go gor ki lam re se ko jin sen de ka re sna ya rarik na ka sa rangjung na la nyam nyam ma to rangjung sna rangjung ni pa rangjung ge ri bi ge tok krong la pa mo chu ni ma chu ba do s la go ka de ji ja bi yin na ya da sang bu gom na da nyam ba gom na ni ka tok ba tin ka ru ge nam ka ni ma di ge tin na bu ge di ge ti na sing ge ser ge thak ba ge la pa ching ge ro ser ge chak bu ge la pa ching ge chak ge chak ba yin dang da so so re chak ge chak do la gom ma ka ze ma pi tu je ni ge na da ma ge tu ni ge 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 do ro gom chi ni ka ze do ro shi ju ob ji ni ge ser ge chen ji la pa de chak da ge ni chi ni do ro bum ka ni do yu ge ma tin na do ro tong da ob tu ju ni ge ro ti tin de ni ge de rin dang so so re te yin na ya gang sa ching wa je wa na ti chi kwa se ta ku ni ge je ke ba je o ma sa na se na chak tak ge ne ge ching ge ser ge chak tak ge ching ge ya ndi ge ching ge pe te jin do yi chu se gen ti ya ya bo de re te yin na ya do sin ni te bi ge ne gom de sem ge ne lo yi ge na to pa da je we gom jo ti mi chi ge gom jo ti zo ba chim bo lam la te na ta ra ya ba lam ma res te yin du ka la yi chu se ne sem ge ne ba lo yi che ne dan din de ji men jo pe na u ma na tong ba ni se ge din de ji yin le che se na la gom jo o te ti yi chu lu chi gom di lu chi ge da re se zo ba chim bo lam la te na tene tsingi tingpi ki lam tham che de tarong yang lam shema ma yinba, yang tabo ma yinba tene ke go korke ke lam yes go kang korke se na tak rin tang san ji go wang mo che tok pi lo ya fra tong cha tene tene mo mo che go de yin tsingi tene tela tene memba la gaba je bi wongi lu ji ke da re yes tene so ma yes.
So now we continue looking at this supplication and its commentary. So we are in the middle of discussing view, meditation, and the view, the meditation, and action. And from among these three, we are looking at meditation. In the commentary on the supplication, when discussing meditation, I presented in two sections. So first of all, resting the mind in a state that is a state free of concepts, simply speaking, and then secondly, discussing meditation in terms of how conceptual focuses and conceptual approaches do not accomplish awakening, how one cannot reach awakening through conceptual approach. So that's the topic that we are now going to discuss. And this relates to the verse beginning, Buddhahood is not attained by fabricated dharmas. Speculative meditation fabricated by the intellect is the deceiving enemy. So basically what is being said here is that from the perspective of the great perfection, then all of the paths and approaches taught in the Sutra vehicle of characteristics, and indeed all of the lower vehicles, in fact all of them are in a sense fabricated dharmas. From this perspective of the great perfection, the path of the great perfection, which is the direct recognition of self-laws and intrinsic awareness. So in the Sutra teachings of the vehicle of characteristics, it's taught that one accomplishes enlightenment by gathering the accumulations of merit and wisdom and purifying obscurations for either 33, 7, or 3 countless eons. So someone of a lesser capacity has to continue training on the path, gathering the accumulations for 33 eons, someone of a middling capacity for 7 eons, and someone of the supreme capacity still has to persevere in gathering merit and wisdom for 3 countless eons. And only then can one completely purify the 2 obscurations that veil the mind, the cognitive obscuration and afflictive emotional obscuration, and then realize complete enlightenment. So that is the approach set out by in the Sutra teachings, called the vehicle of characteristics. Even in the Vajrayana teachings, first of all, we have the outer tantras of Kriya and Upa and the like, and in those teachings it's taught that through training in the path of those tantras, and thereby gathering the accumulations and purifying the obscurations, one can reach enlightenment within 16 lifetimes. In the approach of Mahayoga, the first of the inner tantras, it's taught that that one can reach awakening through in 7 or at the best in 3 lifetimes. But in the Atha Yoga teachings, the Great Perfection teachings, then actually one can reach enlightenment within a single lifetime and a single body, so within one's present life. The very best kind of practitioner, the person with supreme capacity, practicing the Great Perfection teachings, can actually realize complete enlightenment, complete awakening within 3 years and 3 months, or even actually instantaneously. The example of instantaneous awakening is that of King Indrabhuti, who actually was liberated the moment he was given the instructions. He realized them directly, and in that very moment it gained full liberation. So instantaneous awakening, that's the kind of this like ultimate potential of the Great Perfection teachings. So in this sense, when you look, when you compare the efficacy of the Great Perfection path to all of the paths taught in the lower vehicles, you can see how in comparison it is an exceptionally swift path, sort of the swiftest of the swift. Even from among the swift paths of the taught in the Vajrayana, it is the very, very fastest of them all. So when it says here that Buddhahood is not attained by fabricated dharmas, it's not to say, it doesn't mean that literally that Buddhahood cannot possibly be attained by fabricated dharmas, but it's a bit like saying, you can never get to India from on foot. Like, if you try to walk to India, you're never going to get there. That's not true. You can actually walk to India, but it's going to take you a very, very long time, right? So, because it's just going to take so long, then we would often say, just as a manner of speech, like you can't reach India on foot. It's not literally that way, but because it's just going to take you so long, that's how you'd phrase it. So that's this is a similar statement. It's not that Buddhahood. It's not saying that one cannot reach Buddhahood through these other approaches, like the approach of the Sutra teachings and the lower tantras, but it's saying in comparison to the swift path, the extremely swift path of the Great Perfection, these other paths are going to just take you so immeasurably long that it's almost like you're never going to reach there in comparison. That's what's meant by this first line, Buddhahood is not attained by fabricated dharmas. And as it says in the next line, speculative meditation fabricated by the intellect is the deceiving enemy. So compared to the greater perfection approach, which involves the direct realization of construct-free, self-arisen intrinsic awareness, all of the approaches of the lower vehicles are in comparison fabricated dharmas. They involve some contrivance and concepts. So that's why they're termed, so they're fabricated dharmas in that sense. Speculative meditation here again is describing all the approaches of meditation in the lower vehicles, the other teachings, like the Sutra teachings of the vehicle of characteristics. From the perspective of self-arisen intrinsic awareness, the natural state that's realized directly through the Great Perfection path, then all of the other approaches are conceptual. They're speculative, meaning they still involve conceptual mind and the sort of discrimination of the dualistic of the intellect. So as it says, speculative meditation fabricated by the intellect, this is the deceiving enemy. Until recognizing intrinsic awareness. So when it comes, whether it be a positive thought or a negative thought, a virtuous state of mind or a non-virtuous state of mind, if it's a conceptual state of mind, a contrived and conceptual state of mind, that is going to veil the realization or manifestation of the intrinsic nature, the great perfection. So in that sense, actually, all thoughts, whether they be virtuous, even virtuous and positive thoughts, just by nature of being conceptual, contrived thoughts, are from the perspective of the great perfection. They are obscurations. They are hindrances to realization of great perfection. Just like clouds, you could, whether a cloud is white or whether it's black, a black rain cloud or a pure white cloud, both are equal in the sense that they both obscure the sun, right? So in the same way, thoughts, whether they be positive or negative, they both serve to veil the manifestation of the great perfection. The other example given to illustrate this is that of shackles, or handcuffs, you could say. Whether handcuffs are made of pure gold or of iron, they both, you're bound equally by both, right? Even if it's, the handcuffs are made of pure gold worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars, they're still binding you. So actually they're, it's no different from wearing iron shackles. They're still confining you and binding you. So it's the same with thoughts, regardless of their nature, positive or negative, they all obscure the true nature of mind. Of course, this is not to completely disregard the benefit of the approaches of the lower vehicles, like the vehicle of characteristics, the sutra teachings. Those are certainly very beneficial teachings and very beneficial approaches. But nevertheless, from the perspective of the great perfection, it is nevertheless the case that because those approaches involve conceptual mind, then they're still regarded as obscurations and hindrances to realizing the intrinsic nature, and so therefore they cannot be regarded as the authentic path, actually, from the perspective of the great perfection. So that's why they're described here as being the deceiving enemy, because following these approaches that involve conceptual mind just simply takes too long. It just takes far, far too long to reach enlightenment by following these conceptual, contrived approaches. That's all.
Yeah, then you luju gumdu luju gidare sajuga you second the condition ta the shake you pick and cover your the in the counter panja the kegi segana pa gomba la so ba toni gomba la so ba tang the nyamba tawa la so ba tang ji che to make ne gombi la so ba tang je yi jure de ta yi je mai be zo pa chimbo de gomda kandre se panjo ne pa kan shara ti to ma hu ne ta de pangsa da ne bo kangi tola ya mishiba ripa khon garang ba so ma hu shana ta ti ne ta ne ko se ngaran so ribi shi le de ju ya shok tere ti mai bi gi kanje ke nam to chinda ji fa gong ge nga da ju la so bi ta ji ge se bi thamba ge chinga re se ba na shin ji ge fa de nga gom ne ka nga de ti ne shin ka de je na ya do na yi gi to pa ji ge tur ching de yi ju ne nya lam gi ti ne ka pa ro ba chimbu gi ne ya ne nya lam da ti pa res pa ti peji shagina ngaran so ponda kyan bu chis ni shugres ponda kyan bu chis mega lama ta shin bu jinjon bu chegi garb do jini pa yin so re pi ta par ni ma ga lama cha thamji ge zawi lama kyo bi kyo nga ta kyan bu dasir bu ji ge zawi lama re ta kon tinen dona jaga lu ba ti ti so tinen kyan bu ta lama cha sha thamji ge ne lama ta bu kyo ponda kyan bu chis ni ta peje David Pong ge tinen go jire ni ponda kyan bu chis ta sin ji mi ji bu so ko shin bu jire te kong de ma ne te ne kam la shu de du kan la ko pe ke che wa jong sa la shu pe ja mo se te ne ti ne jing ge la ma mang bu ji ge te ne ko kong kong de la shu ne zo ba shin bi ni mo bon nang kam mo de ma zo ke bu da se bi shu ni de kong bu de shu re ni te ne kong ge de ke bu da se bu je song du se te ne kong bu ya ge de shu du kan la te ne jong sa chen de shu lo ju kong de na shu de ji kan de du kan la ti ki lu ba de la nyom ba nyumba shi ti nyumba je re kono ni nyumba za ni ji ma ni ji to to ji ngire sene na me ne sher bu dus ni mi shen da de nyumba na shi yo ma ni kono di chi ta de nyumba do ye tu lo so kyan so ko ya ju ke ja da me da shi ya ju mo ju ne chi ge 이 미소기 코는 빈스 자샤가 말이 콩 디뉴바 말이 디 툭툭지 사리 선타 나면 셔르두스 데 콩어서 표현데 콩데 차다 슈 칼라다 데 근데지 지리였어 근데 님아지 근데 콩다 적신게 냠니 먹어야 빼잖아 빼미켜 본다 걔는 너 미니 저 다시 두자로 올라사로 두자로 올라사로 두자로 순다게 내치고 근데 빼들에 이제 간 두자로 내장 공부미 저게 되네 누가 지는 저기 얘기 되네 간다야 공부로 막또 깨닫지 뭐 둘러요 근데 이제 간다 콩배 되는 디 면바티 지라만 이제 가로지 면바티 말에 공부는 또 공부였어 그때 딱 보는 저 같은 걸라 캐와다 엄마쇼 조생께다 강성원이 같은 좀딱빼 얘기 캐와지 보는데 다른 이제 콩그 캐다 디 면바티 말에 섬티 이마지 면바티 레소스 이게 말을 때 공기 차야 가지고 가와야 가지고 딱 경화실 좀 받아서 때 공치 손 때 이게 낙선도 또또또 스타트 때 공도 더더 나서 때 공도 들어줘 진짜 때 공도 제냐 버셔도 파기 다 되게 인보가 돼 거기 있을 때 길로 제냐 공이 버셔서 때 공이 버서 딱 공도 되네 때 공도는 냠버션 되네 되게 때 믹스도 비하다 두신도 냠버디 디는 두신 대양 콘드라 많이 봤다. 코로나는 지금 하고 그거잖아. 그래. 지금 뭐니? 지금 뭐네 강아로서 이제 계속 그 되는 거면 간지 보더라. 대대지. 양미도 다르고. 되는데. 되네 때 양결지 콘셉트. 답에 똑똑 탐지도 저기 보면 동미가 지샤 디디가. 양미도 다르고. 대기를 좀 아주 되는데 Deni kong ji par ji grip pat mar ji hen jan lama de mar ji tin ji grip pat khorang ji grip pat mo chho sam ji khorang ji grip pat ji ngoni ge ji rigbi gi ngal le de ge na wa ji shas de ge tu da ji grip pat ge chuni le de ge na wa shi de dra ya ji ta de ko du ji du za deni kong ji ngoni ge ji ngarang jane pe khoban na ba ngarang jane bispor cha ji 원익이 생나서 차. 지금 위에 나와지 되고. 근데 저거 준비를 빨리 유는 거 받는 것도 있어. 근데 또 공부해서 나가 최슈사가 나와 먹어야 돼. 리퍼 못 되는 나마 팀면 받지. 팀면 받지 상계 그도 좀 오래도 미수지가 하고 무슨 공원에 차를 나마 인사를 이제 하고 또 이제 기타와 저런데 진짜 그거 살았다. 딱 나도 티나시니까 얘기를 다 깔리 가고 왔어. In a lead the Molomana Miniba in Kimaris.
So it's here when it says speculative meditation fabricated by the intellect, this is something that is actually really very difficult to be free of. Like I said, all of the lower approaches of practice, whether it be deity practice, chanting mantras, and so on, all of these actually involve, it says here, speculative meditation. They all involve, to some extent, conceptual mind. The Great Perfection, on the other hand, to practice the Great Perfection is to simply let mind be within its natural state. Just let mind rest naturally and loosely within itself, without any fixation or notions of something to be discarded and a remedy to be applied to, a remedy to be applied. Just resting naturally and at ease, letting mind settle, letting intrinsic awareness settle within itself. This is really the best way to come to rest within the natural state of mind. Aside from that, all other methods and approaches are really, no matter how sort of excellent they may be, they are still shackles, just like the example of handcuffs made of pure gold, because they still involve conceptual mind. They are still, to some extent, speculative meditation, and so still obscuring and hindering obscuring and hindering the realization of the swift path of the great perfection. There's a story of a master to illustrate this point. In the recent past, there was a great master called Punda Khen Rinpoche. He was a highly renowned master, the teacher of many. The teacher of many great gurus. Lama David probably knows of him, aside of this Lama. He was one of the root gurus of my teacher, Khenpo Daoyose Rinpoche, and Dodro Rinpoche said of him that he was actually the second Garab Dojo. So he was an extraordinary great perfection master. He lived in Kham for a long time at Dzongsa, and while living there, and this was also during Jamin Khyentse Chökyi Lodro's time, there was a kind of crazy person in the area, a guy who acted kind of crazy and who people regarded as being a madman. But this master, Punda Khen Rinpoche, he always had this doubt in his mind, or this sort of suspicion that that actually this guy was not really just crazy, but maybe a really accomplished siddha, a mahasiddha. So often he would kind of invite him over and give him food and tea and stuff. Everyone regarded him as crazy, but Punda Khen Rinpoche thought that he might actually really be a mahasiddha. And Punda Khen Rinpoche, he received a lot of great perfection teachings, and actually was, like I said, the teacher of many others. He also became the court lama, like the court priest of the Bhutanese king. I think the third Bhutanese king. He was invited there by the king and queen, and he really made the Dharma flourish far and wide in Bhutan. And there are many of his students are still alive in Bhutan, very accomplished students. So one day, Punda Khen Rinpoche invited this seemingly crazy guy over to his place and gave him a meal, poured him some tea. And then he said, come with me. I'm going to walk. I'm going for a walk. I'm going to walk up the hill. So come along with me. And led this seemingly crazy guy up into the hill. And then they reached a place where there were some rocks and open ground. And Punda Khen Rinpoche then sat down on one side in the meditation posture, and then sort of gestured for the crazy guy to sit down near him. And then Punda Rinpoche really thought, this man really may be a mahasiddha. So seated on one side with the seemingly crazy guy seated facing him, he sat in meditation, in the meditation posture, and sort of entered into his state of practice. When he then sort of looked over to the crazy man, he saw the crazy guy just shaking his head at him, shaking his head like that. So again, Punda Khen Rinpoche sort of entered again into his practice, perhaps in his confidence in the practices of generation and completion stage, or whatever his sort of experiential practice was. Entered into that, sat in meditation in that state, and after some time again looked over to the crazy guy, and the crazy guy was just looking at him, shaking his head again. Then again he sat in meditation, this time just resting at ease in intrinsic awareness, completely free of thoughts. And then he looked over to the crazy guy, and again the crazy guy was just shaking his head at him like, no. Tsasumba, dini hote kana.
Tsasumba dini ko pe sem shujita machiwe nga shangtu ngate toz gochunga chuta to taron digimindu to na lus. Dini jere chik de di kan ri pakkorong ngol para. Pe migi ri pakkorong ngol lama to thui den ri binga chawane kas. Too much sound, it's not neat.
It's quite cool over here. Okay, thank you.
Disturbs.
Yeah, thank you.
Dini tweeting the match shower the gala. Didn't dress ya chick down the contact for the good to that do to the things. Didn't you think on the shadow? Then it took the chick by the Tongue now for the other Nakala that they're going to quite a million more illustrations. The need to think on the watching very good by Maggie. I have watching Egypt or Mali questions. That didn't I think Lama than around the ticket and Tenaya around the Yinaya, around the Solomon, Bumia, Lama Tui dinner. And it's a watching with the Inji Minji, Lama Jig, and that water to become Lama water quality. In a Namshi Genji to the water game of your
So then, so even when he rested this third time, tried to rest completely naturally without contrivance in the state of intrinsic awareness, still the crazy guy was just shaking his head at him, like, just still he was not quite there. Then once more, Punda Kirameshe placed his mind, just let his mind settle in intrinsic awareness, really supplicating his guru and mingling his mind with the wisdom mind of the guru, really one-pointedly, just completely letting go of all thoughts and all contrivance. And then looking over at the crazy man, he saw the crazy man nodding, nodding towards him. And at that moment then, all of his thoughts just completely evaporated, just completely dissolved. And it was like his mind just, his awareness was just sort of opening up like space, completely unfettered by conceptual thought. So it's really vast and direct experience of the great perfection, realization of the great perfection arose within him. And from that point onwards, then his realization of the great perfection was very vast and uncontrived, completely free, as it says here, completely free of speculative meditation from that point onwards. So we can see that, and after that, Punda Kirameshe actually would say, when he would speak of this seemingly crazy man who actually was an accomplished master, he would describe him as being like Samantabhadra in person, and said, this great Siddha must be a guru with whom I have connections from past lives, and that he was actually Samantabhadra in person, but no one recognized him to be so. So we can see that it's not easy to reach the point where one transcends speculative meditation, transcends the fabrications of the intellect. One needs to first of all meet a qualified guru, receive pointing out instructions from them, and then actually recognize the natural state that's being pointed out, and then sort of wait basically until a moment comes where one gains direct recognition, like we can see happening in this story, so that direct recognition that transcends speculative meditation. So this is not something that easily comes about. It's not something that easily comes about, but nevertheless, if we proceed in this way, then at some point something will happen to trigger direct recognition, bring about direct recognition within us. And of course, it is possible that those with really excellent karma and pure aspirations from past lives can gain direct recognition as well.
Lama tui yapo tene, lami na yapo, lama tui yapo tene, lama suine, trinchu, mishi, lama ngagumsu, ketame, canso, pachimbo, mongo, lama yapo, to vigile. Tene lama, tene range, tapayosa, lama saji, to tene tapayosa, tene, sanji, usitene, tamal budisha masane, Masangi so yang the Lama Nature. Then Lama to eat the chigores. Tinde Chiwi Chigiti, then around so get Ripa. Many get the jet to Miliba. Should you also to temporary patcher for the watcher or the patcher for the Navy. Then give a catch of yours. In a bed away, Natically cover head, Michibazani, Marapena around so Captinala, Capchow, Ginala, Kubaji Jugina, not to Jacobs, that Pemitarjan and Capchow, Kubaji Jugina. Then around media woman, Lapan Darta, lawyer, Lona Trujia, Lefana Lapata, Kupatina, Capna, Kubachuna, Kubasan, Zutu Maris. The yin and Zutu Gumidosene. Shama Lamachi, Niku, Sunku, Shigu, then Tema Mango Yon, the Temachik, the Kubati, Takuban, Shudugaris. That is choose on Panshu, then Kap Kazumo Tawaji Yonayang, then Kupagi, Nala, Yusa Yoga, Kapti, Kazumo, Kazu Kap Tawaji, and San Lakumas, Hanzo Kuba User, or Tina Shinchik, Ripa, Mochis at you, Ripati, Lemachitan, Kandichimo, Kandishon Anthony, Korala Kimkumaris, Gansana, Kuba, Capcho, Kazuina, Kupan, Jusajo, Kupana, and Jusajo, Digite Cap Lagamas, Kupati Cap Laga, Bet Asian, Ripan, Lemagin Mochasaki, Kansate, Kanji Mongo Kaji Tap to Bujan, Kamjum Kora, Maris, Ripamocha Sagiti, Kamsum Kora Chamgi and Mari, Atene, Kamsum Kora Latine, Ningaras, Simjin Kora Turgi and Maris, Tinducala, Tamaranzo Tamchikitine, Lama get them to eat the vacation with the Tugi Yapojin Choson Panchutini, Till Lavi, Yami, Chetan, Tinducala, Zopa Chimbu, Ripa, Mochipra Shevala, so get Lama to the Yoris, Shawa Katuyana, and Zopa Chimbu, Mocha get the Palace of Police. Tinity Indicala can also come in and Lamina for the utilization to the engine, Milan now Mochava Youngris. Did you Sagi Mochava Youngris? Did you do it to Mochava Youngris? Do you tuning a nature answer, check Ripa Mochukilage? Choyama, country, but you do around the door. Achu, the dinner of the common Ripa Mochuk the Youngris door. In the Ripa Trugility and San Ranga, Choyama. The Yoris, the Indican, the Kenaba Tamjiki, and Lama Solomon, and Lama Nutram, Yabu education press. The Mochugum to Century Magic Genji. Then that's a shooting what to go. Milamna what to get to Dutch boy to come what to get to the country in the Sanji gets up the country in Jugu to around Hamaho. You imagine them Tapaki, long Bagana, but
So I kind of find myself repeating this same point again and again. But all of this is to say that it might be that some of you feel that in spite of training in meditation in the natural state, you still have not gained direct recognition. But if that's the case, there's really no need to worry. There's no need to worry or doubt. Rather, one should just continue to train in Guru Yoga, to supplicate the Guru, to mingle one's mind, practice mingling one's mind with their wisdom mind through Guru Yoga. And through that practice, then if you persevere in that practice again and again, repeatedly, then sooner or later, at some point, you will gain direct recognition of intrinsic awareness. You really will. It's just a matter of persevering with that. When I say you should train in Guru Yoga, supplicating the Guru and mingling your mind with their wisdom minds, I'm not saying that you must regard me, when you practice Guru Yoga, you must take me as the Guru you're supplicating. I think most of you have met many great teachers and probably received great perfection teachings from many different masters. So whichever master you feel really strong, fervent faith in, take that master as your object of supplication, as your Guru in Guru Yoga, and train in supplicating them and mingling your mind with their awakened minds. Train in Guru Yoga like that again and again, perceiving this, whichever Guru you have faith in, not as an ordinary person, but actually as Buddha in person, Buddha himself, and just continue to train devotedly in Guru Yoga. And then, like I said, at some point or another, something will happen to bring about direct recognition. You really cannot estimate or predict what the condition will be, what the circumstances will be, but something will happen sooner or later. And you will reach the point, you will eventually experience a direct recognition that is completely free from speculative meditation, from intellectual fabrication, naked, direct, raw realization of the true intrinsic awareness. So there's no need to think that this is something impossible or beyond your reach. It is very much within our reach. It is very much possible. We just need to persevere and continue to train, supplicating the Guru and mingling our minds with their awakened minds. It's a bit like, say you have a needle, a very, very small needle with a tiny eye, and you are trying to thread this needle, pass a piece of thread through the tiny eye of this needle. And maybe you're quite old, actually, and your hands are shaky. So it's not easy for you to thread this needle. But the first few times you might try, but because your hands are shaky and the eye is so small, you'll miss and the thread won't go through straight away. But if instead of just giving up, putting the needle and thread down, you just keep on at it, maybe the third time or the fourth time, and if you just keep on trying, sooner or later the thread will go through the hole. And once the thread has been passed through the hole, the eye of the needle, then actually from that point onwards you have no difficulty whatsoever, because the thread is looped through the eye of the needle and it's never going to part from the needle actually. Now the thread and the needle are joined together. So from that point onwards you're just fine. There's no more difficulty involved. It's the same with recognizing intrinsic awareness. Once you do reach that point, some circumstance, something happens to trigger direct, naked recognition of the intrinsic awareness. From that point onwards, you will never again cycle deludedly in samsara. So once someone has gained this moment of direct recognition, from that point onwards, they cease to cycle deludedly in samsara. No matter how seemingly negative situations they might find themselves in, no matter what hardship they might encounter, because of the strength of that direct recognition, they will be free from the entrapment of samsara from that moment onwards. So this being the case, it is so extremely important to just keep on persevering in the practice of mingling one's own mind with the Guru's wisdom mind. Of course, when we talk about the Guru and recognizing intrinsic awareness, recognizing Rigpa, to do this, a qualified, realized Guru is indispensable. You need to rely on a Guru who really has realization of the great perfection themselves. Just relying on a Guru who is very learned and a great scholar is not enough. They need to have personal realization. So relying on that kind of Guru, a realized Guru, and training in Guru Yoga, supplicating them really intensely and devotedly, continue practicing mingling your mind with their wisdom minds again and again and again, supplicating them and making aspirations. If you continue with that, then sooner or later, just something will happen. Something maybe unexpected and unpredictable will happen, and just you will find yourself arriving in a direct, uncontrived, naked recognition of awareness. It could happen in a dream. It could happen when you're eating. It could happen as you're walking along the street one day. It's just, you cannot predict or estimate when this is, what it is, what condition it will be that will bring this recognition about. There are even accounts of people gaining direct recognition when they just call out, like saying, "Oh my goodness," or in Tibetan, "Achu." It could be that like a real intense experience of physical illness or pain triggers recognition. It could be like a loud sound, the shock of a loud sound that triggers recognition. You just cannot say, but what is for sure is that if you keep on persevering, mingling your mind with the Guru's wisdom mind, then it is for sure, what is for sure is that sooner or later something will occur to bring this direct recognition about. And then Buddha's blessings really will kind of blaze forth within you. They will ignite within you. You cannot predict the manner in which that will happen, but you can say for sure it will happen.
Yeah, that gomba de sami ta chopa de lepsons. Sumba chopa la trova la retok zumbuk de nyamba tra chopa. Tetre nam yam su lembi nanjur ki kechue, tersin lam mi kechue, tepa thamchi ki yang se ati zopa chimbe kechue. Ji tang kechue tang ji le tang pa ne ta ni zintang sikbe tume ki nyamba jungger chengyen kang la mi se kyol tong she song te wo sar mi ki nilu. Mixam tundu tang chabi ki chukur rang chir wong sun tu chabi thani yu yu jingin zintang kun yu yu zang kun sara shik pa te chike tu tangpo namtok ngo shi pe choba nganji ki mi tang chapa tawu pardu namtok rang ki rang choba dul ki tuba choba tawu thama namtok pemen name tuho choba kantong to kuma shuk pa tawi ki zintang shi luk ki netang tena namtok sangyen chitra ki kyang Pong yin ki pong me ika tang pong me ika me gui para rampop yu mi nga to hu ji le be nam to shukuru tang be shere kalde nam to ta te pa shik la yin bo ta te pa shik ten gui se nam to la ta me be ki yin pu pang cha pang wi ki tu mi chi be shero rong so ma pan de te te chen su ju tu song ba ki wu ji ki pa shin ki se te te ken ki se shin la she tang ke pa na Te xing chik shetang kepa ni xiang ni tang sum ni xing chi ni pa la shetang ke urin kirwe na shetang te tok tam chi ze chik yin nam wan te ze ta te re yu te la chik yin na xing chik tarwa tre bi ke shetang tam chi dobur rik na te tar ma yin nam kal te ta te re je yu na ni te yi ke nap tong shepa tsam yang kal bi ke tara tukru chwe kyang zopar mingyur te kal te te ta Pangwara chawa na tu ki ta yi ki ke chik re re shin shetang re re pangyang pangyang separ mingyur be ki ta yi para mingyur ro she sung pa ta ro te ta te taran zintang shik be nan jir be ki ngoro kun te ki chen yi tenpar chupa shik ye ne sa yi ta tse tsam yang mik su me pa me be kun jang rikwa rang ki rang sal me long nang yi ke sung ye na sung kang me to Sharva Shindu Shing Tasul Mepa Tripatang Triviging Ngo Lenda Manyong Be Kunti Ni La Sangin Ki Damka Sepa Sopa Chimpi Rangur Dotun Ningbu Mikti Ugo Rangsen Bashik Mepe Timit Ki Nyomba Chimpo Te Jenyi Ki Shalni Lumbu Kubi Rewa Tang Kiawa Trilvi Toba Tang Retok Mepe Nyomba Nge Yenmi mebi damba tala she tang je mile nanchuru mila repa la shen yang nyom ser rang yang yamban chung nyuwi nyuruk she zana panyo punyo juba doje changche nyo she songpa tar tani zokpa chimpi ke tokpa undu jirwi nyam teni zokpa chimpi tokpa undu jirwi ke nyam ke tsiko te le ta te le nga ma shu changtong kimi tu shi bi pabchur chashi data ur tunit zangzok sokin zimba tabi retok sebi ki tsik jungja te papab su mewa tang tu rikwa tesu tang chabi ki ngang to chamtar shing liu ma shu satong haru tabi ki jokik ze shu tang dak nyer zin ki midung we shirbu yalwa te chongju ki uyu taburu sa ku mette shirbu payang su yalwa ya pasawa meba namchak rikton jimbi ki ngang la mitse di chidri kyotong te tunda war chao ipa te tratong ya Tati songa de, tendu kang la rang tsoge tagi ge dira barwa tagi zitang karas ore, tani zitang shibi tumi ki nyoba jungir chenge kang la mesi de kyo tong songa de, tendu kang la tā dzogba chenpo ngōni retok de zimbuk di pa asa de kāng tā ngā tō retok kāng zimbuk di pa de retok shio nā jirwa yin sa ka rewa yo ma tā la rewa yo dan jera tokpa yo tā rōng tā yi pen tō kyu ka rewa tān je yi ki nā pa kira wā tokpa la sa wā tam che yo tēn yu kāng la 지지저와 레토데 마추게 바르도 되는 저버침에 난주도 온도 메인데 레토도 좀북인데 연바들 쥐바서 연바 세겐데라 지금 상의하고만 장조하고만 대도 하면 거래 어떤 때인데 간라 아야 저버침에 난주를 지금 양답아지는 그 데라드네 그 도바다 하를 레와 이거를 요마를 레토기 좀북게 봐서 뒤에 자와치니 연바들 쥐바 대들 되는 람 양술렘비게 난주비게 제주에서 뜻인 남이기다 리주문 지지시도지 개주연 바디안네 디에땡에서 takwa 탐지기 아디 조버심비 개주 당시에서 다 다닌 전당시비 도미기 년바 전당 탐지식이 어야 율파가 율전 저거 전당 탐제 파라 어야 불기 도바싱의 시오의 시비기 도미기 년바 사타 도미기 년바서 다 콩나싱이 되네 수직의 년바 나는 요신 지진 메라송에는 신 파는 지세 그래서 디송하나 신지기 panyo punyo jubanyo se tene krangaran so ndi so ana sin ya panyo se te namjur mela rebe ge shen ya nyom se se khong la nyo du se khong ni nyo du se ran ya nyom nga chik sem te bo de nyom ba se kan se te so me ge nyom ba se nyom ba ran so crazy ti ke se ma nyom ba se ge kan sa na se nyam ling ge tene kar pa che chik sang de ka la tene Dranin tene karba rulo, korde rulo, sangin rulo, zangzo rulo. Oya tene jiktingi chawat shu ngaranzo chewa nam jiktingi chawat mitun ba. Namjur mitang mitun topa tene karba chakla mente sakena yin. Te tevi cheba tela tene nyomba asara ta jiktengi ki sheti kanga. Namjur ba namjur tela tuntop sara tanto kanya nyamaya. Raya nyomba chung sa ta mitam che chache lobe ke chache pinji lo leka chache nyen la dangwa chewa chiga mare dala dangwa chiga mare nur gindur serengu sanjala chidang chiga mare tina ke nur dugu la ngara san tongchang chiga mare te indi kanga jiktingi chawa ta gal digen tila nyomba sa ta ngara papa sa setang tila ta ngoni ki ten chakcha chenpo zhokwa chenpo nyi tine jikting dang chwe dang galgi rive se de kawa jikting da gyacha gyan gal digen tine zhokwa chenpo chwe tine te indi kanga Zogwa chimbo shala dhokor san, zogwa chimbo ke nubun dhokor san, miso ke tene sanggore se kan zogwa chimbo nyambari se kore. Di kaala san ubi nisu laya tete mi chwe tu hindu, nga rang zon dra yin sa dra ngobur chuba me, nye yin sa nye ngobur chuba me, zang ma da zon chokpa yin sa yuki toro nga zo skun choba mogu gyabda ya, degi tanto zang zo te ya ma chuba re, tam che de tene, rikwa rangi ye tene nawa zang ma to meba hindu, kiyang nyom sa raya sa nyom nyamba nyong se ta, 인류 나시에잖아 판요 분요 유반요사 판요 세대 말벌로자 분요 세대 밀다랑요 이 판요 분요 유반요사 다 되네 말하더니 네그 나란소에는 되네 유바 탐제 직녀 이요도 서래 유바도 제 창천요사 다 인류 탐제때 아야 되네 그런 나란소 말바다 밀라소네 그런 차게 친구겠냐 우르는 거제다 메로사는 저거 친구겠냐 다 단단하게 통통 좀 내고서는 계속 야 탐지겠다 너는 유럽진 아시 인여를 알아서 지밀링비 송도와 지밀링비 간서스나 마하요가 탐지했는 묘함에다 당구를 붙여 어느 요가들은 나로다 텔로 아디 요가 탐지했는 구를 붙여 간서스나 그룹들이나 시리성한 점벌신을 가서 우리게 다 든득이 균이 요구하겠어요 다도 탐지기 뇽바스는 맞은 전나 똑비기 때문에 롱도 도도나 똑박게 되는 거랑 추루야 쇼는 이것들은 인여위기 당해지라 어다 티타버레스 셰송 같은 다니 저거 준비가 또 뭔도 이게 쓰긴 냠소스라 야 다된데가 다다 이딘데 사서 술단도 야 다데 야다 야 난다를 좀 준비가 미치디 지들을 교동사다 지딩기 제위기 되네 자 펜바자오 만데다가 자체미기 자체미스 자와 자체레숨 탐주단 자유나니 미세디 바르교동사 단디 자미스디 간라 자체레숨 다자와세 달라드네 펜타와다 냐 느껴와다 냐라 펜타와라서 마테도 마임바 야데인디 간 지딩 탐을기 자와다 민데위 난다 나와하다라 모더라 저저 데네타 전도 춘이기로 나와하다라 모더라 상아 전도 춘이기로 위기나라 냠린다 미처리만이 나다를 숨기 때문에 냠린다 미처리고니 야드네 첸디 미첸디 세치들 세칸키기 세테야기 저거 좀 세심이야기 봐 디시 이거 기기 람들 저거 좀 보세요. 이게 동대 뒤인다고 자고
So now we move on to action from monk view, meditation and action. So action is addressed with the next two lines. Now clinging to style and manner is destroyed with crazy abandon. Let this life be spent in the state of uninhibited naked ease. So clinging to style and manner, the clinging of hope and fear that consumes us ordinary people. A genuine practitioner of the great perfection, completely transcends all hope and fear, all clinging to style and manner, all of the different shades of hope and expectation that bind us. And actually, until one gains realization of the great perfection and becomes a genuine yogi, genuine practitioner with realization of the great perfection, it's not possible really to transcend hopes and fears completely. It's not possible really to transcend hope and fear. So here what Dudjom Rinpa is saying is that clinging to style and manner is destroyed with crazy abandon. So having gained realization of the great perfection, all of the hopes and fears, the expectations and clingings and presumptions that bind other people are utterly destroyed, utterly shattered with crazy abandon. So crazy abandon, in that sense that he's describing himself as a madman. A madman just like Milarepa described himself. In Milarepa's songs we find a few lines where Milarepa says, to paraphrase, he says something like, people call me crazy, indeed I am crazy. I'm a child of a line of crazy people. My father Mapa was crazy, I, his son Milarepa, am crazy, and my descendants also are completely crazy. We're all completely crazy. When he says crazy here, actually what do we mean by crazy? When we say someone's crazy, we mean someone has no reference points, right? That's crazy. So these kinds of realized practitioners, practitioners of great perfection, they are completely crazy in that sense. Having realized great perfection, namely the natural state of all things, in which none of the concepts that we are bound by, that we fixate on, all of the dualistic concepts of clean and unclean, of samsara and nirvana, enemy and friend, good and bad, all of these different concepts that we fixate on, having realized the natural state, which is completely free of such constructs, the natural state in which such concepts have no establishment, no pre-existence, then these kinds of realized yogis, they appear completely crazy. They no longer have any such dualistic reference points. They're completely free from all hope and fear, all notions, all these dualistic notions that distinguish between the concepts of good and for clean and unclean and so on. Basically, all of the worldly concepts that bind us, ordinary people, they completely dissolve in the face of their realization. So, such are these realized practitioners. They're like crazy people, often described as being like crazy yogis, crazy yogis. So this is how how the author is describing himself here. Often it's said, you could ask, is the Dharma in accord or discord with worldly conventions? And you'd have to say, well, the Dharma actually, like the genuine path of Dharma, is in discord with worldly conventions. It is not in line with worldly conventions, and in particular, the teachings of the Great Perfection are 100% in discord with worldly convention. Why? Because the Great Perfection is the realization of the natural state, and worldly conventions are just deluded concepts. deluded dualistic concepts that actually have no existence, no establishment within the natural state. So that being the case, the great perfection and the conduct, the action of those who've realized that great perfection are in complete contradiction to worldly conventions, the worldly conventions of beings bound by concept. So here he's saying all such clinging is destroyed with crazy abandon. So describing himself as a crazy person in this lineage of crazy yogis, lineage that includes the father Marpa, his son Milarepa, his descendants. Also, that includes all of the masters, the great lineage masters of the Mahayoga, Anuyoga, and Ati-yoga, and so on. So Drujung Lingpa is here counting himself as amongst this lineage of crazy realized beings. Let this life be spent in this state of uninhibited naked ease. So let this life. So when one gains realization of the great perfection, and all such concepts and clinging dissolve within the face of that realization, then both this life and all future lives are spent in a state of uninhibited bliss and ease. So completely free of mundane concerns, completely unbound by mundane conventions, never parted from the state of realization in which all appearances manifest as the display of deities, all sounds manifest as a resounding mantra, and all awareness manifests as unbounded Dharmakaya. So spent in that state, that realized state of divine appearances, mantra, and Dharmakaya, a state of uninhibited naked ease.
Ta kandasena nipa tedar lam nyam su lebi natur ki kejo shepa kandar se jang gawo zosing ge natur su dan rogi keto penjing ge peki je sonte tedar nyam je renjo mepa nyam to ri ji mepa chu yingi nan je pe gosum ki cheba nang sur mange we shu tan jigden bi ki kendro nawa tumba tam mitumba kandar je jang shepa je jang u chu yi ro sa la song ba tar se zosing ko bi ki kendro ma ge pe na kun gao de guao zhongxing ki nanjirwa teni gangsa suji tang yang zu zhobar che jiang chenang wang du gyurjing choba lam la nga hingi pe zechu chitri che jiang kunji tang me chumba me pa samba chucho la ngangi jiwa sangzhe tsechik sangye da nyantu korwa ta jen du jingi lo mi pa tudan namba kundu sem jong survi ki dewa mayin parin ki me takwa tambi dewa chenpo keto ta de ta kansung gore se na zoba chimbe nan jure te tene kraba nyamso lembe nan jure te ni oya tene kraba tuda naba kunde kibu re se ta kibu kang re se na tawa te tang ne ngara so zoba chimbe ki tawa te tang ni tene kraba nyamso lawa se yina ni tene kraba ta kibu kang ta ki chanda dubu ge ne kap so ya tene kraba tawi ge tene ngaranzo tawa tang gombi chobi ke tene karpara ngaranzo jesu simbi ne kapsu tene sa nyaran rutu ke tawa chiche na ya thamche tene karpara ndona tene gombi ke toksu kirwa ta tawi ke toksu kirwa ta chobi toksu kirwa ta yimare tendu kangla ta te tewe ke tene chu gingi na je gosum ke chopa sa nyaran rutu o ya te tewe ke tene nangsuru mangewe chotan jikden ki kewan na nawa tumba mitumba kaan tar che jang sa ngupchu ribu se gane kaan sa gana ichi kiri peche kiri ngupchu ribu di sala lu shaya paja sala mala shana korang tala di mangi korang so shabi dedi pe tena shinji ge nanjir wiki choba chimpi ge tawa yugun ge choba di choba kante sharan de sona jikting ge choba dan degi maare sa kaan sa na ngupchu ribu sala to sona korang sala ge sa tang sa degi maare pe tena shinji ge tena zopa chimpe nanjura chegi de tena kanti chara chegi desha ina ya jikten tsendi mingdang, tamdang, nyancha, gyudang, nordang, korla soba chaga maa yasa di indu kaala nyomba sena tisere jikten ba tsampyo rangi chigi rangchokla gawa shen chokla dubu tena tena sudang su ina ya taadi pombo chenpo ina, khewa chenpo ina, rangchokla chakma yore chenchokla dangwa yore di indu kaala ka uni zopa chimpe nanjura ge tena ke joba tsuwa ni 대대비게 랑신당 초신당 등의 지금에게 인생당 등등이 되는 마시와인데 무엇이고 살아도 왔나 신기 살아도 왔나 신기게 어때네 디레스 간세스나 간들지게가 오조 신경 만들었어 네 남도의 윤단 민재와인데 남도 윤단 민재니 만재인데 근데 간제 제시나 저 진짜 제시나 저는 추적하게 깨자시나 주 공부하잖아 주 사나 주 야드네 루징나 한다 컨치는 것을 지지나야 너나 따와되기 전에 약부스 신대요 여기 따왔다 공부하기 약부스 신대요 이제 저번에 전에 출사도 넣었잖아요 요 말이 된디 단데 이거 뭐니 마송송 그래 그런 드네 긴열전에 되셔서 그래 송셔야 돼 그래서 삼제 마태용 그래 된디 간라 조바치베 난주지나 깨와 치마상기 고봉토르다 알라라시 가고데 센디양 드네 그래 봐라 오늘게 조바치베 난주리 인스나 누구잖아요 말스 기부 그냥 당선 캔서가 지금 라마솔라 현지가 라마솔라 디브리션 독서인데 라마소야 sempre 기부 민두서인데 라마소야 지금 셈나라지 소몽다 독서인 이제서 고도 등원이게 셈기 마스터 치슈데 조바치보다 작게 전부기 되는 라마인스게 랑 셈디에 다고 잡아뒀네 셈디에랑 말도 심하던데 등원이 안 도바서인 독서디 조바치보다 가서 작게 전부지 간지 준비를 지기요나 간대지 않으니 오늘게 난저봐 오늘 주도진다 만연아 뉴주 탑되긴도 제 지금 만나는 나주 탑되긴 저거다 됐든 저기 빼는 알아서 뭐 주신 나와 봐서 근데 그러가 심직 인생 걸 카드는 심직이야 이거 인생 카드네 인다 센탐진 야되긴 주신 나와서 근데 주신 똑재와서 밑함을 받는 신신가 달고 되긴 주신 계주는 되네 잠을 봤을 때 짜가지고 되네 키라 봤을 때 그나 샤워를 봤을 때 키라도 잡되게 실로가 나왔던 직된 탐을 봐 타는 봐 키라 잡되게 되네 지금 이게 디제되게 되네 다 가시에 되네 맨송미기 되게 저도 뜻에서 따는 직대만 나네 누가 직접 받지 되게 되죠 돈도 되네 또 저게 전부도 접하신 분이 양된 것도 jor되게 되네 요리 딱 나오다 남라 풀트면 살안 jor되게 돌아 잡제샵는 오니게 상기 미케비케 쪽부터 총이었어. 그래서 안쪽에 세시 규탄 안쪽에 박시 규지 말했어. 이 많이 마토기 때문에 저는 차게 침보도 저거 침보게 난저지 마스지 인스나 랑사 빠키 토리 저기 기쁘게 답도 기쁘다 누구게 내서야 빼거라 선바도 양선이 옆에 동구 캔슬을 보지 동구에서 공부를 해도 민생 뒤주 간절히 동디나서 그래서 양선이 콩담랑 안줄 랩네 곰치가 미게디야 곰 작은 셰도로 대려면 오늘이 지금 랑게 남도 탐치 이야로 해도 진짜 누구 말이나 진짜 뭐 하는 그때는 진짜 때문에 동구 캔슬을 뭐지 걔랑 동구 캔슬을 뭐지 구버튼데 시리즈 되게 찌가 통교육이 많았어 그 강세 민생 뒤주 고수 규제와 탐지들 접하신 분하고 되게 나한테 뺏기는 신용을 했어 일단 당선 나와서 계속 캔슬을 라마서 빼샤면 같은 거 라마지 컴퓨터 출루부터 차방시도 너나 차방시당 가르쳐 차방시 계속 시고는 나 추시는 게 라마 이나야 돼 안으로 걔랑 추시는 게 이나야 안으로 라마 계속 신부 두세나야 되네 다제 라미한 타고 요만 너나 내 들으서는 강들 지정가 오족신게 난줄 슬라베 조바 신부 난줄 세게인데 남 이나야 그러고 남칸 나시 야다 되겠네 그러봐 투셈 탐지 막 돌되게 되는 거래서 그냥 여기 디디션은 아주 얘기는 미 자진스기죠. 라마 계속 세우 가게 말해 그런 일수인이나 정바 숨주심지다 중주지 라마 인도스 정바 정나 중주지 얘기. 되게 라마 이제 콜 기본강 강바신강 탑자지만 와 말이. 되게 지지가 걸어요 말이. 그 칸나니 기부다도 마도니 독시에서 이도 찍어요 말이야. 사규면도 도규 미가서 나 미나 거르파 칸이 기부인 따다지다 나 미나야 지금. 전신서 견자원지다 진짜게 지금 못 없으면도 자인의 매스 시시도 이제 강 저번에 나저서 패치 뒤쪽이 공부해서 했어. 이제 강라 딱 나야 겨울 무슨 저번가 저번에 나 나도 자정 뭐 이게 되게 되게 강라 세우고 당시 셈만 이거든 뭐 요도 나랑 저번에 저번에 나저 말했어. 사실 저번에 나저이 차게 처음 나저 인생을 뺏고 쉬우가 제대긴 소양 기분민도 디버전 쉬우도 라마 소몽나 디도스기 되게 고드가 나 똑바사이도스 디나시 이제 향서이나 저것이 보게 난저리 쉬면 보시행이 라마강 나 곰쉬우가위 당아 기분민도 나 되음민도 쓰거나 그 곰디다 키라니 유니 자와니 마치 따레스 저거친 난지로 마셔봤다 자기 친구 난지로 마시겠다 그랬어. 디가 또 잡는다. 디 저거친 난지로 인반주 때네 라나 왕도 되는 신앙 실기는 또 그랬어. 오야 대인지 간라 오야 대인지 간라 오예 네 라노 온도 되 신앙 실기네 또 그랬어. 랑게 나와도 저 왕도 되는 다샤시나 시고미 시다라 숨자지로단 지딘 죄기라야 셈슈르도 말했어. 오야 미 나와 순대지 드리려나 잘로 침부 키와 침부 시지게서 나마 디나오데 탐지 마 빠숑데 기부 샤면 동비기 딩딩 된대요. 변화 두 견제 비스나 해서 눈좀 보시나 하셔서 다쳤어요. 디토르스
Joyful in all action, the Dzogchen Yogi, happy in any company, son of the lineage of Pemapara. So this is describing what a realized, a genuine Dzogchen practitioner, a realized Dzogchen Yogi is like. As it says here, they are joyful in all action. They are always happy and at ease. Why is that the case? That is the case with genuine Dzogchen practitioners because a genuine Dzogchen practitioner, recognized Dzogchen practitioner, will constantly remain within the view, infuse whatever they do with the view, and of course maintain.
Sorry, simple shangdo. Ngendu tata singilo ni batan namba kundu sem jungsurwa dewa mayin bar gyume takwa tambi dewa chimbu chido teni ati zoba chimbu gonda nyenju ki nanjurgi nonso chokdan tembe tubji jime lobun sanji nipa pema samba wiki samba wate pema penjungi pui tuki pujut namki keche so sinabda dinna singi tuida namba gyundu rangir pati teni karapara kansasana kusumki chewa tamche de zokpa chimbudan teni nyamso lento batang zokpa chimbuki ngala nene teni karapara ngaranso ina kibudan dupu kanyi na ya tawa tagum nikarte teni karapara zokpa chimbu choba tamche de sangil tutuki choba tamche zokpa chimbu tawa da kumbala che tupi di peman chuni ki teni karapara gyuki teni kechuri es te sumba asana tusha
Okay.
Wanda, I am very, very sorry.
So, a genuine Dzogchen practitioner will constantly maintain the recognition of the view, meditation and action, regardless, whatever they are doing. Whatever experience they encounter. So this being the case, then of course they are happy and at ease when things are going well, but even when faced with terrible difficulties and hardships, still, because they are never parted from the view, meditation and action of the Great Perfection, because every aspect of their experience is embraced by the Great Perfection, view, meditation and action, then they are always blissfully at ease. Regardless of the circumstances. So that in actual fact, rather than being affected by circumstances, actually being adversely affected by circumstances, actually whatever they encounter, whether it be pleasant or unpleasant, whatever ups and downs they encounter, everything actually becomes a support for their realization of the view, meditation, and contact with the Great Perfection. An example to illustrate this is the example used to illustrate this is the example of a drop of mercury. Mercury, you can drop mercury on a dirty floor, but mercury, no matter where you put it, it will never be tainted. It will never mix with dirt or with anything else. Actually. You cannot taint mercury. It's you can drop it on the floor onto some dirt, but mercury itself remains utterly untainted, utterly stainless. So in the same way, through the strength of their realization, these kinds of genuine great perfection practitioners, no matter what circumstances they find them in, no matter what action themselves in, no matter what actions they engage in, none of these actions can affect them or taint them. Whether they engage in seemingly mundane pursuits or dharmic pursuits, actually everything from their perspective is just the genuine path of Dharma, because no matter what they do, it's all infused completely with their realization of the great perfection view, meditation, and action. So that being the case, even though they might seemingly engage in worldly pursuits, they're completely beyond any attachment to worldly concerns of reputation, status, gain, fame, and acknowledgement, recognition, and the like. They're simply never caught up in perceptions of in conceptual perception. They're just they're not at all affected by or tainted by conceptual perception, ordinary experience. Just like a drop of mercury always remains untainted by dirt. So whatever they do, it's the genuine Dharma. So this being the case, the Dzogchen yogi is joyful in all action, happy in any company, the son of the lineage of Pemokara. This is how a genuine great perfection practitioner is. This is how they are. But these days, though, very strangely, often one hears about supposedly about teachers or practitioners who are supposedly teachers and realized practitioners of the great perfection, but nevertheless somehow struggling with depression or anxiety, or struggling with the ups and downs of life, because of things not going so well. When I hear things like that, I have to say I really find myself doubting the authenticity of these so-called great perfection masters or great perfection practitioners. It just doesn't make sense that someone who has realized the great perfection could still be prone to depression, to anxiety, tension, and the like. Someone who's realized the great perfection is no longer involved in conceptual thought, in ordinary concerns. So it just doesn't make sense that a realized great perfection practitioner could be prone to ordinary anguish like depression, tension, and the like. Of course, it is possible. It is possible that such a person is actually an accomplished master, like a Mahasiddha, and just putting on this display, this show of being sad or depressed or what have you. That is possible. Essentially, one can never really say for sure. One can never judge or determine for sure the conduct of realized beings, right? We can see that when we look at the example of the 84 Mahasiddhas of India. There was, for instance, the Mahasiddha Larapa, who slept night and day. He was just completely slothful in terms of his behavior, and he never got up. And from among the other Mahasiddhas, there were some who lived in very strange ways. Some were pimps, some were just constantly farming, digging their fields. Some were hunters, and always out hunting. So we can see that it is not possible to really judge the conduct of accomplished beings. So there is that question mark there. But nevertheless, still when I hear about people who are supposedly great perfection masters, who teach the great perfection, supposedly guide students in it, hearing that actually they're suffering from anxiety or depression and the like, this really does make you wonder actually what's really going on, So someone who is a genuine great perfection master should, as a sign of their realization, they should always be happy and at ease, no matter what the external situation. An example would be someone like Dulu Khyentse Rinpoche. he was constantly just relaxed and at ease and joyful, always, no matter what was going on. Like, have you ever seen, I don't think any of us that has ever seen a photo of Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche looking really serious and worried or something, right? He always looks like just like he does up there, joyful and at ease, right? Totally unbothered by ordinary concerns. And this quality of his, this like joy and ease, it was actually something palpable, like you could, almost palpable when you were in his presence. This was the experience of pretty much everyone who met him. Just coming into his presence had like a palpable effect. It was like just walking into spaciousness. This is actually, it said that when one realizes the great perfection, through the strength of one's realization, one's own experiences brought under control, and one gains the ability to influence and tame others. And Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche was an example of that. So just coming into his presence, everyone was affected just merely by his presence. Even like really conceited, sort of haughty people, leaders and politicians and the like, as soon as they came into his presence, naturally they became calm, they became humble. I had this experience myself, and pretty much everyone talks about feeling the same thing. And I had the same experience myself. So even me, like someone as tough-skinned as me, was touched and tamed by his presence. So that's really a clear sign of a realized great perfection practitioner. There's another example of such a practitioner, someone called Me Gyaltsen, who lives up in. He's a monk from. He's a Ngakpa at my monastery in Humla. He was a student of my father, and he's a lama and like a head lama of about 60 households. Not like with any high status, like particular high status or anything. He lives very, very simply in a small, a simple house. But he's always happy and at ease. You never hear a single complaint come from his lips. You never hear him talking about anything negative or complaining. He's always just happy, equanimous, and at ease. You never see him tense, stressed, or in a bad mood. So that's really what a great perfection practitioner should be like, if they have, a genuine realization. Of course, me on the other hand, that is not my experience. I experience many ups and downs when I encounter, say, difficulties at the monastery or different situations. I do find myself affected by those things. So I'm certainly not a realized great perfection practitioner. But if one is a realized great perfection practitioner, it should be the case that one is, just constantly happy and at ease, unaffected, unswayed by ups and downs. Having that being said, whether it be a teacher of the great perfection or someone who regards himself as a student of the great perfection, if they find themselves engaged in involved with the three poisons, attachment, aversion, and ignorance, and caught up in worldly concerns, then that is a clear sign that actually they haven't realized the great perfection. So you should also, take note of this. If you regard yourself as a student of the great perfection and think, that, oh yes, I really am a practitioner of the great perfection, I've received, instructions from this and that master. But if you look at your experience and see that still you experience ups and downs and you're vulnerable to circumstances and swayed by this and that, that's a clear sign actually that you haven't realized the great perfection yet, that you have yet to merge your mind with the great perfection, the natural state. So it's keep that in mind. And yes, as it says in the second line, happy in any company, son of the lineage of Pemakara. So this quality, being joyful in all acts and blissful and at ease, this quality of the Dzogchen practitioners is a unique, special quality of those in the lineage of Pema Guru Rinpoche, basically the lineage of great perfection practitioners. That's all.
Tengi tos la to ten du kana zoba chimbo nanjur segen te tu ta namba kundu samba te lo shigi yode genji ki bi kam du bi ne kap kana ki du kange ne kap sayan te ne samba te yang chi wa ji go sa res ne kun chen long chen ram jom gi kan sa sana ki tu kong ne du tu kyo ro che ya ten chun ta mi lo nya chi yin sen te ne chun je na te song dus chun je gi te ne ka ta wa kan ju bin ta ro ko na te song du ten du kana zoba chimbo nyam ne du kana ki bi kana mi pe pa sa le shi na shi chimbo yin ngar gel gi mi yong go ne ngres du gu gi tu so u bang da sem ya u yong ne te ne ya pa ke gres te du da nam ba gyun do depression na zu gi to so long la bong bu gi to nyo to chi ge de ko to chi za wa yin chi ge ma res ki du kana ma gong ne du kana kyo ro chi ge res ti so sha dus ti so jo da ngarang la experience de la nga la te ne mo chung 가르스 내가 저거 친구 또 민도 저거 친구 또 하나 근데 나랑 저 누구 견제를 보지 저 민주는 보지 나신 남카 나신 jam수 나신 뭐네게 되네 걸 거라 그 양보다 로데오다 카딩 미긴 되네 거 근데 또 빠지 고고서 근데 내가 좀 민도스 얘나야 나라야 저거 친구 냠민지기 미지 인스 뒤인디 균센데 때도 가 가래 하고서 기뚜게 뒤에서 저거 친구들 상도 땅 텄나 뒤들은 저거 친구 그리 빠들 싸움을 땅에 문이 그리 비긴 한다 샤트도 그나 샘바티 양촌이 땡땡도 다 띵이 끼어진다는 메스 나랑 냠는 그 거라 싸움었다가 있나요 강을 기도 간제죠 뒤에도 그리 빠들라 말샤지 일러샤잖아 문이 지금 샘바티 대자미 인도야게 간제지 좋나야지 샘딩 암도께서 말해 삼기도 땡든지 땡땡 요구도 세나야 뒤 저거 전부다 고츠 섬제 괜찮네 내가 아버라버기지를 막도 단도야 레고 말스 간 고츠 섬제 남신 저거 전부 사자 레선들까 때문에 이제 대둑 탐저러니 공개 탐저러니 진짜지 나서 레버레스 얘기가 다 길레비다 갈레데 이나야 저거 전부 냠내잖아 나랑라 편도가나 시켜서 탐저 땡땡 편도가레스 계란게 미수다 수게 게로 빠세와도 수기 되네지 람편시와 레장 랑기 리파데 랑이랑 따빌 사기 람편시게다 랑기 리파 따게다 선주지게다 교로시게 싸워있는 거다 야슈테 띵디 저거 첨부터 경화도 깨었다게 중앙나 진짜는 남다 유도 맞이버신 선생님이 계신 분이스
Another thing about this point, this statement that the great perfection practitioner is always joyful and at ease, completely carefree, spacious and at ease. Regarding this, Longchenpa says in his Treasury of Dharmadhatu, in the 9th chapter, he says, when you're over elated, it brings you down. When you are over elated, it grounds you. When you are down, it lifts you up. Such is this undeceiving truth, such as this undeceiving Dharma. With these lines, he's describing the great perfection. How the effect of practicing and recognizing the great perfection is that if because of circumstances or what have you, you become over-elated, then recognition of the great perfection will bring you down to earth, will ground you. At the same time, if encountering difficult circumstances and you become depressed or that threaten to make you depressed or anxious, then the great perfection will lift you up, relieve any anxiety or sense of hardship, raise your spirit, so to speak, lift you up. So this is the effect of the great practice of the great perfection. So that being so, if you do practice the great perfection genuinely, you really will not, it's not possible that you will fall into the depths of anxiety, depression, mental instability and so on, because this is the sort of one of the great qualities of the great perfection. And speaking from my own experience, I can honestly say that this really is the case. I've definitely not realized the great perfection, If I was a genuine realized great perfection practitioner, I would have to be like Dugu Khyentse Rinpoche or Dudjom Rinpoche, someone like that, who were just as open and spacious as the sky, like the ocean, you know. But I'm certainly not like that. I'm not certainly not stating that I have any realization of the great perfection. But having said that, I am a practitioner of the great perfection. I do strive to train in the great perfection. And I have found that when I do encounter ups and downs in life, difficulties and different circumstances, at first I am affected by those. I'm definitely affected by the hardship or whatever it is I'm facing. But then if in that moment I can remember the teachings of the great perfection, bring them to mind, and then rest my mind within Rigpa, within intrinsic awareness, then all of those anxieties and difficulties threatening my mind, they really do just dissolve within the face of awareness. Just bringing the meaning of the great perfection to mind and just letting the mind settle within awareness has the effect of just making all such anxieties just completely dissolve and lift within in the face of that. And then I really do find that then I'm no longer like vulnerable to the ups and downs. So, like I said, I'm not saying that I'm realized, but nevertheless, even just as someone sort of endeavoring in the beginning of great perfection practice, I can see the effect of it, you know. And I say this from my own experience. Of course, when you really arrive at the sort of genuine realization of the great perfection itself, then everything is perceived as equal taste, as equal even taste, samsara and nirvana, and everything is perceived utterly equally. That's it.
Tangangi nyamyungi sherji chicken string, tingi tanda pala mira labes. Yindi kanga jomba chimpa dige pentab kandi vudusina, kena pala ngarang la pentab chung mongol lab kazing mongol lab sayin, tanda yang la de kanku pentab kari chung ina sa samres. Tingi tanda ngarang so mongol la labes. Ngamso Nepali mongol la luchini ra mao gi nyokta shiu chung res. Mi gi nyokta shiu mi chi cho da dungda tang da yu cho cho na ta ngamso gomba la ya gomba me tu gre sayin to chawa tham juma mi ga chi to gre sayin to nga samga na ma pyong gre sayin tinda keja pe ma chi nga losum de de. Losum sam. Tinjagi nyokta chimpo ji lang de ka na mi na ma ji ba ji so yo res. Ne ma ba mi kha shi le on keja dan de shi tinda mi na ma u so ga. Yin na ya tikaz nyokta mongo chu na ya ni ma chi nga ni ma tu dungal sa ma chu. West America na kama la bu du na mi ti pe du chu pe kang la chu shi chu ni san chu ma se du. Ni de yang bu chu na mi de tension chu me re se du. Tinda yin na sa ni de ma ta sa ma chu. 최저 조금만 냐롱 그래도 최저 되는 거 알아. 니 조도. 식디스. 니 버틀라스 양신다 시게.
So I want to share a story with you about my personal experience, because just now and also in past teachings this last few weeks, I said more than once I mentioned that, you know, just my application of the great perfection teachings really has helped me like alleviate anxiety when facing different ups and downs and so on. But I think probably I should share like a specific story, you know. Otherwise, you might, if I just say something vaguely like that, you might wonder, well, you know, what does he really mean, you know? Like I should be more specific. So I'll share a story that I've never really shared openly with people before. In the past, for Lochini Gingola, Lochini Gingola. In the past, in 2001, so in the past, for about 12 years, there were the Maoist party in Nepal made a lot of problems in my area. In Humla with the monastery and in the entire area actually. It's been quite some years now since the problems kind of since the situation calmed down, but yeah, this went on for about 12 years, and it was really very disruptive. The Maoists would come to our area. They took a lot of the young men off, forced them to join the army. They would attack people, beat people. They would demand that we give them money. They would demand that the monastery gave them money. They even threatened to burn the monastery down. They threatened to take all of the monks and forcefully enroll them in their army and so on. So it was a serious situation for quite a number of years. And actually, during this period, I was in retreat. I was on 3-year retreat while all of this was going on at the monastery and in the wider area. But in spite of all of it, of course, it was a serious situation. But in spite of all of it, I have to say, there wasn't one time where I struggled sleeping at night. I heard that in West America, some people say that if people are anxious and worried, overly worried and anxious, then they cannot sleep. That the result is insomnia. And then if you can sleep well, that's a sign that you don't really have anxiety or worry. So throughout this whole period, even though it was very turbulent, I had no problem sleeping ever. I could sleep for all through the night, each night. I never lost any sleep over it. So I think that's probably a sign that I didn't have any significant anxiety in spite of the seriousness of the situation. So that's one kind of experience, one sign I can say in my personal experience. Secondly,
Dila Shena Yonsa Maris, Damula Shena Traditions. Shena Chubi taught the language was the Shena, Illusa making choose. The thing experiences, thing is another Gomula Lames, Tingarangi biography on nutritionists, Tinita Jellical Tontis, the Delicans on the Shares.
Another.
The Pengi do such as Yabos.
So, second story from one day when I was on retreat. It was at some point in the summer, and it was in the late afternoon when at the end of each afternoon session I would do sur, like as generally one does on retreat. It's burnt offering before stopping to have some tea. So I was doing sur, and while I was on retreat, then I was in closed retreat. And I wasn't seeing anyone, I wasn't talking with anyone. There were just 2 monks looking after me, and then a very small number of monks who would sometimes come to receive instructions, but I wasn't like seeing or speaking with anyone else. That was like my setup. So one day in this late afternoon, as I was doing this sur practice, all of a sudden someone arrived at the retreat house door and started smashing on the door, like almost like like they were trying to break in, really like hammering on the door, like full strength, shaking the door, hammering on the door. I was sitting doing my practice, and like I said, I had these 2 monks, Tobge and Tenzin, who were helping me during retreat. So someone was like attacking the door, trying to break it down to get in. Then the whole it was like a huge commotion, and they were creating a huge commotion. Of course, I had no idea actually what was really going on outside, but I could just hear them trying to break the door down. Then I could see that one of the monks was on the sort of the rooftop, looking down over the like parapet, whatever you call it, and looking very frantic and anxious, like really kind of panicked, as if like someone was about to set the house on fire. Like they were like acting that panicked. The other monk I could see was inside by the door, but on the inside, like on our side, and again looking like equally panicked, like absolutely desperate, and kind of hysterical. So this was during the period where the Maoists were making a lot of problems in our area. Things were like very, very touchy, and 4 days earlier we'd had a report that. From the Maoists, saying that they were going to first of all burn down the post office.
Police checkpoint.
Also the police checkpoint, the local police checkpoint, and then after that they were going to come up to the monastery and burn the monastery down. That was what the Maoists had proclaimed to do just 4 days earlier. So when I heard all this commotion, someone trying to break the door down, and I saw my monks looking so, especially the one on the roof, he was looking down like at what was going on outside, and he looked so panicked. And so what I immediately thought was, the Maoists have really come. They've really come. They're outside trying to break in, and they're going to drag me out of retreat, maybe try and imprison me or what have you, burn the retreat house down, because that's what they threatened to do. And I was sure that this was what was happening. It was like I was seeing it with my own eyes, even though I couldn't see outside the door. But it was such a kind of vivid. This picture came to mind so vividly. It was like I was seeing it directly, and then sort of imagining that, I was filled with such intense anxiety and dread, really intense anxiety and dread. But then after a few moments, I found myself remembering Rigpa, remembering intrinsic awareness, and then just letting go within intrinsic awareness. And within a few moments then, all of that anxiety, like that paralyzing anxiety that had been gripping me just a few moments before, just completely dissolved without a trace. And I found myself just utterly relaxed and at ease and open, to the point of feeling like, no matter what happens in the next moment, I have no regret whatsoever, no regret, no anxiety. These Maoists are going to break through my door, barge in, and they can stab me in the chest and kill me, but it's nothing. I felt like completely unfazed by whatever was going to happen. just from remembering Rigpa and then just letting go within that. So then I'd completely calmed down and was just in this very relaxed, open space. Then after some time, my monks came down, and I called them down. Actually, I wasn't speaking, but I called them down by clapping my hands, and I gestured to them what's going on. And then they explained, the monk who had been up at the top explained, oh, it's actually one of our monks. I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, not a monk. Someone who looks after the livestock, but a local person connected to us, a guy called Siring Dorje, and it said he's just, for some reason, he's just completely freaked. So this guy Siring Dorje had arrived at the door completely drunk. It was like he'd just completely lost it, and he was really, really drunk and absolutely hysterical, and he was insisting that he see me right then and there. Maybe it was this because the situation with the Maoists was so tense, or I don't know what had triggered this, but he just completely lost it that day, and also got completely drunk, and he was acting like an absolute madman. So he was the one who'd been trying to break through the door, and actually this man Siring Dorje is almost like family to us. So of course, I would have let him come in to see me, but because he was so drunk and hysterical, the monks hadn't let him in. They said, Rinpoche's not seeing anyone, you can't come in. But he was absolutely insistent, and then when they wouldn't let him in, he actually took his knife out and started trying to stab them. So it was really quite a situation, So that's why the monks were so kind of panicked. So it turned out that's actually what was happening, and in the end when they told me this, I gestured, I told them to let him in, and he did come in. And usually, actually, Siring Dorje would be very humble in front of me, humble and quiet in front of me. But this day he was completely drunk, and not at all humble or quiet, and he was shouting at me, all of the monks at the monastery, they look down on me, no one respects me. But I don't have to be afraid of anyone. I know who I am, and he was ranting and raving like this. Then anyway, I talked to him and managed to calm him down, and after some time he left and the problem was solved. But so it turned out that actually that was the situation. But nevertheless, when actually the whole commotion broke out, in my mind, I was convinced, absolutely convinced, that this really was the Maoists. They'd actually come, like they'd said. And so I had that kind of intense fear, that my life, and just through, the point of the story is that, that it really does help, basically. This practice really does help. So just that moment of remembering to let go within awareness made all of that intense fear just completely dissolve. So this is the point of the story, that this practice, training in awareness, really does help. So we need to persevere in the training. It's really important. And one thing I forgot to translate from before was that Rinpoche said when he said that there's really actually nothing more helpful or beneficial than training in recognizing one's own natural state, one's own awareness, and training in letting go within that state. This is the most supremely helpful thing, more helpful than the help and guidance anyone else can ever give you. You might have the best teacher, the best guide, but actually even they cannot help you as much as you can help yourself by just training and recognizing your own Rigpa. So it's so important. You should always keep this practice in mind. Keep it as close to you as you would keep something that's strapped around your own neck, Always just keep this in mind and persevere in it. And this is really the greatest benefit, that the greatest benefit and kindness the Maoist party showed me, because through this situation I'm really paying some clear recognition of Rigpa actually, so actually the situation was a huge help and aid to me. So yeah, I would like actually to thank them for that experience, for helping me in that way.
Yeah, that's what there's me kichu but I demand man don't Golan did the method tersing lama, she is on the country figure or taking number Anjing Kidu Young to young Andrew Cutter Tempita, boy, Captain she doji, you in that country, Lugu 20 machine, something you can't tell image we can do. She is on but the and Chuku to Zambone, Doji Seba, Chana Doji, Paragalwa, Gombi Juba, Grub Dojini. Lobunchimbo Pemanju, Niki, Parang Zendai, Gibatin and Jambon, Johnson Sone, Tati, Zavit Lamarida, Kinkurkunji, Nada, Captain Dunjum Jitri, Doji, Parakansa, Yinki, Jubate, Jubasumdante, Dalejan, Kaboblung, the Molobongo, Kanto Tekate, Kabatermi Gichogi, Jubasumte, Juba, Tugi, Chinlavgi, Gubigi, Samachepa, Kandrumi. Kalang Tulewa, Te Yinshin, Jatsi Louis, Sombra Minipa, Mimin Country, Nijuki, Dambi Teja Troti, Gunzen Kalzan, Jesu, Zambala, Nayepani, Niguki, Chinlap Shenle, Papi, Keseso, Ranri, Terchen Lama, Kukon, Kungi, Jubander, Churchutan, Togilki, Lamla Tene, Sendre Jalu, Gruson Watan, Ludelchinto, Tanwigan, Namter Kunji. Cancel the Yinshin, Shan to be in the Tasso, Jatan Wupong, Dongdang, Julia Yamasu, so Kiwiki, Julie, the Batuma, Chongdan Chong, Shimba, Jeta Yanda, Yamba Kunji, Sertal Lasso, Tripa Sumji, Gondo Girva, Orient to Lingbi, De La Saju, Chanchu Simba, Namji Jang, Pandola, Tempi Geto, Dao Meto, Techi Shena, Ninang Pasashin to Chawadan Sheba. Che Pachumti, Kato, Chuse Lundi, Chembu, Umber Sangi, Sembiki, Jetiniki Shani, Munsirin, Dundo Jita, Maon de Shema Patayesha, Tata Pension Gatsop, Tropon, Jitri, Dujela, Servan Devishi, Songbata Tusum Gisangi Yimba Masit, Tatan Guru, Pimi, Gatsop Tropon Kitchen Loza, Tersin Chugi Jaw, Tiji Quinti, Lamate, Kona Mepa, Wozata. Disonres, the Inditandini, Lurgita, Dankas, Egg, Mongoshes, and Dunjum, Tundan Canteto, Pama, Layavunka, and Batantini, Chuki, Juba Gonda, Juba Kaza, Egg, down the Mongoshes, and Tatin of the Mace, didn't make up to German Michigan, Nam to do this.
So, what comes next is mention of the great qualities of this master, Dujunamusi, Dujaisha Doje. And this section of the commentary that I just read through is an explanation of his life story and his amazing qualities, the prophecies that foretold his coming and so on. I'm not going to talk about these things because I already actually spoke about them a few times, like in the retreat last week and also on other occasions. So I won't, I explained about, I told his life story in brief and mentioned some of the prophecies in which he's foretold and so on, so I'm not going to repeat those things again. So the lines in the supplication that talk about him are, Lord who has no peer, great treasure revealing Guru. Chula Naso.
Yeah, you was yes, just something almost the days or so. Shiba, Shiba Tekba Tamjiki Yans, Adi Zobachin, the Kichu, Shipala, Chula, Totemento, Country in the secretary. She is on the Church of Washington, some long Mangaki, de Sungi Yager, Yang Lana Meba, Mangaki, Chun de la Tekwa Rimba Gui Tota, Meto, she Duntu Mete, Chewing Zueles, Chitterregel, Zemochiwana, Mavilona, Tuchik Tonate, Lungi Zem, Ranjin Tontanter. 대신 아직 도진인 거는 특별히 양재 동근 서버는 저 오미 대비 뒤든 동화면 제 송신 제송바 신 택바 군지 양제 이시기 칸루마 이 인기 되게 대 인터넷 따르쳐 쳔보 칸루 투기 빨리 의소요 길와사 비나네 양 습기 담바오다 디게 되네 저와도 마고 잡는 마고 잡게 단도나 조바 쳔보 세겐 디디 게디 책 당고 디 지금 되셔라시라 최라 또또도 칸루 인티 세겐 되네 캡디 주는 부치게 되네 알아서게 담아 대쇼인 바다식 되네 이빠도 조바 쳔보기 담아 인 바다니 조바 쳔보니 택바 탐지게 제모인 바 베나 리토쇼 ngo소나 리토쇼 고마워다 리중중 담제 마와 슬기 내셔야나 이통 다다서 넘브나 다잖아 사는 게 공부도 빼되는 지금 조바 쳔보디 알다잖아 택바로 구이 공부 탐제 조바 쳔보나 수도 되게 상대와 조바 쳔보 말 맞춰봐 내가 오야 대인들가 대대위기 그네 캐치도 조바 쳔보 캐치시는 거랬어.
The next line reads, Dharma without equal, heart essence of the Dakinis. Just to explain this line very, very briefly. This line is describing the amazing qualities of the treasure teachings revealed by Dojun Rinpoche Jidayeshe Doje. It's also describing the qualities of the pith instructions of the Great Perfection, and the fact that the Great Perfection teachings contain all of the they're like the peak or the very tip of all Dharma teachings, the very peak and summit of all 9 vehicles. They contain all other teachings in their entirety, completely and utterly, without missing anything out. At the same time, the Great Perfection pervades absolutely everything. It pervades absolutely everything and includes absolutely everything. The Great Perfection is like similar to standing on the top of the highest mountain in the world. From the summit of the highest mountain in the world, you have an aerial view of every single thing below you, right? There's nothing you cannot see. Whereas if you're lower down, your vision is limited, right? Or these days you could use the example of an airplane. From an airplane you have like an aerial view of the entire world. So the Great Perfection teachings are like that. They're the absolute summit of all 9 vehicles. The 9 vehicles that comprise all of Buddha's teachings. So they contain everything within them and at the same time permeate everything without exception. That's it.
다시와 지우 템바 토팔라 스타 지우 렙데레 데인데 추스 론디 침부 상기랑 예파당 데데위 조바 침부 맹아 템비 라미기 가진 템바 니레 다 서브제션나 다 담보드네 추스 론디 침부 상기랑 예파 스겐틸라 이 자와드나라 몽친 인기 무바랑 말도 상네 티데만 되거든요. 거기하고 몽친 인기 무바랑 말도 상네 오슬니만 데미 코리우제 가상 스겐디 야지죠. 가상 스게디아 제샤나 근데 다다데 데네 제 송데 몽바 쳔보 마리비 유이게비 녀몽바 당시 지지비 레비 제 인기 때 셈기 멤버 탐제 섭시토 로선 두마치비기 리파랑기 말도 상와테 타네 토파 트웬기 워스르기 니마 디파 메프린 인연은 코리우도 저와테 냠지 일미도 손에 류도 진도 땡 셈중이도 땡네 추세 론디 쳔브로 천디르세 창예와테 지게도 야드른난저 남랑니 싫으시는 주비 나와인 에마호 셰 송바들 람델라 티비케고 남 신도네장 갈와장보데 소남기 빨니기 엄버추파오 다음디 강송레스나 야 되네 단다에 공부수와나 진짜게 야 몽몽신 인기 몸바람을도 상네 사다 곰지 야온데 강라 공기 빵차라 되네 님부신 마고와 야 되네 지금 타는 부지네 빵차다 님부때 마고와 네 뒤에 있는 거로 빵차들 님부야 신때 마고와 되네 디바치고 몽친 선나 체커와 통모면 다다버도 디디비기 시지지바다 타로라 디기 남진의 집이 되네 타로라 디기 윤주 남진의 집이 시집 대대비기 전전 몽친 선세 다 뒤에 있는 다 들어 저 군다가 렌지기 제바다 탐제 뭔지 인게 뭐 바람말도 상에서 까와치 부지에 먹어 랑기 말사 랑기 약사세 랑기 백스 뒤토로 상에서 까와 금박한 거 먹어 지진 구조가 랑기 약사 말도 걸어 백 코로나라 나로 야 랑도 그런 상계 되게 나신지게 오늘 돈 탐주 쭉 되게 나신지게 되는 저거 신부대 besul te mogowa tene nyembu la te mogowa reparang papsu shaw de kan tene chugo undu kyu tes la te ninge mu parang mal do salni osal nima dime khuryu pe ta dipa tham je mato mal sang te kan ishi ge bi ge ran dang te nima sharang de ma sin si tene dia ta rang de mato le ya sharang du o ya tene osal nima osal ni ishi de tene te dipa me pa nima tin de ta nima de shin du sa wo ya bu sar yorwa ope te ne yin je ge dipa tham je de dia dipa de rang riba khorong to mala sang ni rang ri to ya sang gi kyutela osal nima dime khuryu to charbi se ta nginsen khuryu to nima ga sense gyu me ba nanjur wa nginsen de ne kar par ngone ge yerme to de ne nginsen khuryu to de ne charbi se ta ko nanjur wa gomba de na chen la ya te ko nin la ya ko nginsen yerme bi gi gom ji ta de de pe mo she ge de ji ni osal bi te ta ma sa mo she ge ta dorna gom ya bu jabna o ni osal se ne te ju so so gom mo go shin zokpa chimpu ki nyamlen di yakho yachon sabba ngingar na shin chanla gom di yasha rongwa ate yin ta tiyan kuryuk tu charbi se ti gom yakho ti gom jiwi ki ta tiki gom yangi sen kuryuk tu charangwa res kalzang tada kalwa zangbo nani kalwa zangbo te tiri rangi sechik loji ki san jiwi ki tene ka tamba nyi sechik loji ki tene te tewe tamba ngoni ki tene nga rang so nangen ki lama san ki uwe tawo chiki jal rang yang tene kora jik tingi chuen di tamchi sarkyu zani me gengi 양수 게 발업 나신 오야 되네 그 잔 살기 메긴 대 자와 담비 내가 그래라 요네 최지 주 가와 담된 라니에 미류 또 줄기 가와 좀 라마야 자 담주에 좀네 되는 되는 신경 그냥 저버치 그냥 렌시 주 가와데 이네 좀네 저버치 원도 되는 리도 디 등도 저버치 그 원도 줄기 되니 신도네 가와상고 원예기 서리데 지냐 발레다 이진으로 인터넷 도르지 파람 되는 그 리도 지냐 발레자 kalwasanga shi tizi kene kanzira satore indonesia dori sai kanzo pendab jawa mi chogo sa chimbare sen sa chimbo sere ma indonesia dorje balu bagini lamga ge tene dona shinji kamje ti amjol ta na hali ye ka an zugyo ja na hali ye ka chi hali ye ja dor opete na shinji tizi che hali ye ja ma seta ngul segen dia mi mangbu ji ge sa chimbo ze ye don da karma je ge sa gyuni peme to gongyuni peme to kanzo ba de chi chi ge bian to ma re de indu ka la zokpa chimbuki chun disegen tene tsen deda chima tamjigi tene karpara unigi tene kartamba sama kamzi re wata te tewigi dam chuyo tomne nyamsu lengyugi kalwa chungiti kalwa zambo sakitri severes.
We have the following lines. Having naturally purified the great delusion, the heart's darkness, the radiant light of the unobscured sun continuously arises. Such good fortune. So the next part of the commentary covers these lines. Having naturally purified the great delusion. So this is these lines, these 2 and a half or 2 and a bit lines are describing the result, the fruition of the practice of the great perfection. Having naturally purified the great delusion. The great delusion, the obscurations, the cognitive obscurations and the cognitive obscuration and emotional obscurations, these 2 obscurations that have veiled our intrinsic nature from beginning this time up until now. Through the path of the great perfection, these are naturally purified. The the emotional obscuration prevents us from attaining liberation from samsara, and the cognitive obscuration prevents us from realizing this full state of enlightenment, omniscience. The obscuration is also sometimes described as the 2 types of ignorance, namely imputed ignorance and co-emergent ignorance. So this is these obscurations, these states of ignorance that veil our intrinsic nature, are what's being described here as the great delusion. That which has been obscuring our true nature from beginning this time up till now. So when in the path of the great perfection, there is no need to rely on an antidote to remedy these obscurations that need to be discarded, without having to apply antidotes to the discards. Rather, just by actually resting, letting be within intrinsic awareness, letting mind settle within its own state, then this great delusion, these failing obscurations, are naturally purified in and of themselves. When it says here naturally purified, the word literally has a sense of purified in their own bed. It's like, because the great perfection path involves simply letting be within one's intrinsic nature without having to apply some extra antidote to rid oneself of abandon some obscurations. It's a natural purification, a natural effortless purification. It's like you don't even have to get out of bed. You don't even have to get up or get out of bed. Just resting within your own state, within your own bed, so to speak, the purification naturally takes place if you can just let go and let be within intrinsic awareness. So that's what this line is describing, having naturally purified the great delusion, the heart's darkness. Then the radiant light of the unobscured sun continuously arises. So when in this way the obscurations are naturally purified in their own place, then the radiant light, the radiant clarity of the unobscured sun, this is describing, of course referring to the natural luminosity of intrinsic awareness. So when these veils, obscuring veils, are removed, are naturally purified and so removed, then the natural clarity and radiance of intrinsic awareness can shine forth, can blaze forth, just like the rays, the sun rays of sun when the sun is completely unobscured, uncovered by clouds. So just like that, when veils have been naturally purified, then the radiance of intrinsic awareness shines forth continuously. So continuously, day and night, without break, without distinction, unceasingly. This means that the realized practitioner, having manifested the results of the great perfection, they are constantly constantly dwell, so to speak, within intrinsic awareness, all through the day, all through the night, day after night, constantly. So there is no distinction, no fluctuation. There's a huge amount that actually could be said just about this word, the use of this word continuously here, like the luminosity of sleep and how that's recognized and trained in and so on. In short though, you can just what you need to understand basically is that if you continue to train in the great perfection and maintain the realization, the recognition of it, then that recognition will just continue into and through the sleeping state, so that actually one's recognition just continues unwaveringly throughout night and throughout the day and throughout the night, so through sleep as well. This good fortune. So this is to encounter these instructions and the opportunity to engage in this profound swift path of the great perfection is the greatest possible good fortune. To encounter these instructions that can bring about complete awakening within a single life and single body. This is the greatest possible good fortune, to encounter these profound instructions, to encounter a guru who is a Buddha in person, and to be able to cast aside all worldly concerns, the endless worldly concerns that are as endless and relentless as the pounding waves of the ocean, to cast away all such meaningless worldly concerns and engage in the practice of these profound instructions granted to one by a guru who is Buddha in person. This is a situation that is just of incomparable great fortune. You could obtain the wish fulfilling jewel, a wish fulfilling jewel an enormous mountain made of diamonds or an inconceivable large amount of gold or what have you, but none of that could even compare in the slightest to the fortune of encountering these instructions and the opportunity to practice them. After all, even if you obtain a whole mountain's worth of diamonds and precious jewels, really what use are they to you? How on earth can they be of benefit to you? You can perhaps put them on your ears or around your fingers, but actually what does that do? It doesn't fill your stomach, it doesn't quench your thirst and hunger. These sorts of things are really of no actual benefit, even in the short term. So, on the contrary, to encounter these kinds of instructions, the profound instructions of the Great Perfection, and to have the opportunity to actually put them into practice, is the supreme matchless good fortune that brings about the greatest possible benefit in this and also all future lives.
Tanyeba Tetevi Zobachibu Menga Tumbi Lami Katin Timba, Sintiku Pachi Lami Kutin Tinlin Kurdameto Lamaran Teno, Sie Sonde, Tetevi Nilum Zobachimbi Lam Diko, the Indini, Pachi Chukundu Zambo, Tang Pantok Yuntin, Ir Machipa, Paden Savi, Paden Lama Yi Kutin Kona Lenyebe, Tuji Gangvi Tingi Lembote, Chepa Soviche, Du Kalviki Paragosumki Peba Tabu. Most Jervig Chabadan Thompson, the Chinang, Tenyu Nukula, so the Yiki Trivig, Chose Town may be pulver, Chayan cutting Chachitamian Soviet, Minduna, Tinlen Kurvigi, Tamitit, Pate, Meadow, Tayang, Potul Tamchi can be sent to Mana, Kenzuji Marin, the Drumoprato be Kalden Tikito, Nanjurang Zinjubi. Cutting the tangent in Temple in Lama Tujiran Cheo, she is on butter, the cutting down Dembi, the Tepun origin Sanji Nibigi, Casam Korva Dondi to be Tersingi, Lama, Rangre, Kona, Ripa Maju, Tersingi Lama, Ranti, Tersingi Lama, Ranti, Kona. Ripa Machu Numi on the Teno Zeta, D. Consoresna, Ta Lami Katin Tempere, Lami Geta, Lamani Tete Vigeta, Aranso, Monique Sanki, Mechipiki, Zobachibu, Ditebate, Lami Katin Mapotazan, Oma, the cousin Monkoni time, Tobin Lamish, Laconale, Tapsdro, Mobashi Pacha, second over them. Oh, yeah, zero. Good na council was the Chin Hinchik Yishin, the Chin Marimata. Lami Tataptembatan, Rangi, son of Tokiki, Singer was 60 Tachamas, Pandit on Pachisana, Lami Gichinata. Oh, yeah, the Rangi, son of Git talk the zone, the Zopachim of the Chakachim will go with it. More the younger rest, they are Lamala cutting out the Mandatina Lamala Matimbigi. Sanji Koban Totan, Ribamo to Zawai in your Maritain de Gala, the Lamani Sanji Capatin Chivares, or what they de Gala, the Go Pachi Lama couldn't set it, the Lancordameto Lama and Ten, the Lulunga is sometimes a Lama La Pulli. Goes Lamigi so to go down, the nature Lamigi, the name of your Maris, La Lama La Chatola, Rab the Necorpa, Mare, Rab Duban Yamingish in a chateau, Ding the Necorpa. Rangi Lima Kishato, Tama, the Nika Sansin Kishato, Sanson, you know, Longible said, Dings the Rangi Lu, Tanganika Lami Gisho to Gold, the Shapena, Jizim Milagit, and Makapun, Sabon Popular Nasi. That rap Nika Duban Yamlin, Ishi Sokel, to control song. In the city, Luigi Dubakin, Jelly Fortune, Tanda, Guru, Tuzin to Lord, the country Shisokel Nasi. The Nita Jizim Milagit, Luigi Shato, Dubishato, Nijapo. Then rap the Nika, Tantama, some singing the Nika and Bolas, Yellow Tison, the singing, the yellow concert of the Septic, September, Jeddah, Necropara, Maranzo and a looking sharp bubbles in the night, Kazak, the kilo up to Segima, Yankee, Tindet in a go over the Mamma, Chatel, Chateau, the Flores, the Tandating, and Nemo Kezaman, dancing around Sota, Loton Chachi, the Kashi, Tindigit, and when you get Lamarate, Chateau, number Sumbi. Lamigi took some Lamara Gucha Guja or Marite, Nona Telopagi, Nara Guchu go to Naruba Kuma Jaso, Naruba Kuma Jaso, Kuma Jandicam, Misang Sema, Dunya Hansia. Tell para Juguija, Talova, Korampe, chapter, Jugu merit, Loma, the source of Chevich, you alama the Gondo of Shiguas. What that data station, Tini, Tata, Tandona, Lama, Tangula, Lavata, Lama, Dubu, Lagi, then chooses Savanita, Saraduji, Yomaris, TM Ducala, Lama Sangi, Lama Jutation, Lama Gindute, second of Oh, yeah, TM Ducala, Luma, Tatini, Lama second day. Cutting Champuy by the Hapo, you take it at dinner and Dero Mobuti, Dero and other Sasamaris. The Indican, that short children, telling Honda Metos, the Lama here to send the Monakiwa and Kiwa, Nenka, Serapur to Cuttington and Santa Maris, did the Twitter number Gundo, Car, Cock, Kanichi, Cockbalaji, the Mugutam Johnson, and Dinlet Tepayon, or Yaba Teba Metic, Tinjamaiba, Tam Tablomaiba, Ninkung Ruting Igoni, Teba Nania, the children don't be Teba. 당의 대바나 되비대가 상황 최면도 비대면 거네 제노스 되니 중요한 소소가 살성스
So now we have the last 1.5 lines. So we've already covered the first part of the second last line, this good fortune. So the remainder of that line is the kindness of the Guru, my only father and mother. Guru of unrepayable kindness, I only remember you. So here, these last few words of the supplication are, they're talking about the extraordinary kindness of the Guru, the extraordinary kindness that the Guru shows us in granting us the incomparable instructions of the great perfection. This is an inconceivable kindness that they show us. Just as it's taught in the Tantras, it is deluded to think that it is utterly deluded to think that there is some other way to realize the natural state other than relying on the blessings of a realized Guru. Similarly, in the Tantras, there are quotations that read just I can't remember them right now word for word, but basically that state that the natural state of the great perfection can be realized only through the Guru's blessings and through one's accumulation of merit. So through the coming together of the Guru's blessings that we invoke, and also from one's own side the accumulation of merit and purification of obscurations. That is the only way. Through which the great perfection can be truly realized. So that being the case, without the Guru, without the Guru's great kindness, there is simply no way to reach awakening, to realize the natural state and reach awakening. So in this way we can understand that the Guru is actually of even greater kindness to us than Buddha himself. That their kindness is the kindness of the Guru, who teaches us the profound path of great perfection is just immeasurable and matchless. So such is the kindness of the Guru, my only father and mother, the Guru of unrepayable kindness. So even if you offer your body, speech and mind, your entire being to the Guru, for this life and many, many lives to come, actually it simply will not be enough to repay the kindness that the Guru has shown us. The Guru who grants his instructions of the great perfection and introduces us to that state. It's just, the kindness is so great that it is simply irrepayable. Generally speaking, when it's taught that there are 3 ways of repaying the kindness of a Guru, or serving a Guru. The lesser way is to serve the Guru through offering material goods. The second way, middling way, is to serve them, to serve them with one's body and speech. And the third and best way is to serve them through applying oneself to practice. So, an example of serving the Guru through material goods and offerings is a great example of that is the great Dharma King Chusan Detsen, who offered his entire monarchy, his entire kingdom to Guru Rinpoche, presenting to Guru Rinpoche all of his wealth, his royal treasuries of wealth, to Guru Rinpoche as sacks, huge sacks of gold and precious jewels, not just a small amount, but like enormous sacks, maybe like sacks as heavy that contain like 100 kilos. So that is an excellent example of how to serve the Guru with material goods and offerings. And this is not like a myth. This is not something that happened like thousands and thousands of years ago. It actually happened just about 1,000 years ago, during King Trison Detsen's reign in Tibet. That was how he served Guru Rinpoche, with these kinds of like limitless the material offerings. An example of serving the Guru with body and speech is the way that Milarepa served his Guru Mapa, following his commands and serving him with physical deeds. Milarepa also, of course, served his Guru Mapa in the supreme way by applying himself to practice and gaining accomplishment. Another example of serving the Guru in this third supreme way of applying oneself to practice is, of course, the Dakini Yeshe Tsogyal, who applied herself one-pointedly to practice in a range of remote places, isolated mountain retreats, charnel grounds, and the like. Through one-pointed practice and perseverance, she manifested accomplishment and attained the rainbow body of great transference. She is an exceptional example of serving the Guru through accomplishment. Of course, it's not the case that, like in the case of serving the Guru with material offerings, it's not the case that the Guru actually has any desire or any need for material offerings. That's not the reason why a Guru is served in that way. It's actually done for the sake of the student. That is one way to serve the Guru, to enable the student to gather merit and purify their obscurations. Like another example of that is Tilopa and Naropa. Tilopa, of course, had no need or wish for anything, but often when you look at Naropa, their life stories, you see accounts of Tilopa demanding Naropa to go off and even steal things for him, saying, I want that, you go and get it for me. And then Naropa going off, at his Guru's command, and then often being caught red-handed and beaten and seriously injured. Of course, it wasn't that Tilopa really wanted or needed the things he was asking Naropa to get for him, but it was rather he was creating that situation so that Naropa could purify the obscurations that were hindering him. Again, in the Tantras it said, the Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dhamma, the Guru is the Sangha, the Guru is the doer of all, the Guru is the great glorious Haruka. So, there is just so much that can be said on this. There's quite about a page describing these lines in the commentary, but we just don't have time to go into it in any more detail. So I'll say just this, but in short, the kindness of the Guru who introduces us to points out to us the great perfection and grants us those pith instructions. That kindness is simply matchless, immeasurable, and irrepayable. So that being the case, acknowledging and remembering this extraordinary kindness, then with heart, mind, and soul, we should supplicate the Guru from the very, very depths of our being, from the very core of our being, the depths of our bones, sincerely and with intense longing, from among the different types of faith, like inspired faith, longing faith, confident faith, and so on. We should ideally be supplicating the Guru with irreversible faith, the fourth type of faith, irreversible, irrevocable faith. That is utterly sincere, not just like a lip service or a show. And with that kind of sincere, intense devotion, then we say, I only remember you. This last part of the line also has a sense of please look upon me, please remember me. So it's both I only remember you, and also please Guru, think of me. So with this line, actually, we have concluded the explanation of the entire supplication.
that's Sumba Yonsu Zobi, Jujang Sheba, Sheba Rangi, Doju Lobu, to Tubi Kunjime Chewing Nerbu Dun Tamji, Dubi de sungi ngoro jitri shi doji chotum de me pa ge serwa dakala nam bawanto sundri me pa stati di kong ju jangles.
And then we have the closing colophon, which reads, at the request of my foremost Vajra student, Natubu Jigmechi Nobodin Tamshi Druba. Druba, this was spoken as delirious chatter by Jidra Yeshe Doje. May virtue abound.
Teningi de juktum ti javres. Tela kanti la sundri me pa ranglo shinto mobi shuksan de se makuli yiki chukchini yobali kanchir mi bingi so chi chi pa kada druba termi longdo sha sata tango tene gyosha chik cheva res. Nga rang mi sheba tang mobi ki wangi din dangshin ki ten chuku kundu zambu ki tene gongba chita wa shinto tene mara song sha yogi tene chuku ki tene rangsil di ta wala tene nye ki tene mi shi mobi ki tong jawa japsho yote tena mi shi da gal dewa gyosha sigi windus nga rang pe SM gan dila teba tang tangwa kene tena tene chik dewa di japsho shons makuri yiki chuchini yuwa desi nga rang miki kul kyu tirochi sagenda wada nga kulwa chika suji marungte nga rang dila gachi nasi nga di tirochi gyabsha yinsi ta nangshiri mibi nye so chichi pa sa ta mandirwa tang, narwa tang, mashewa tang tene ngi de tene tsindro yabu maho tamche ni kata truba trubi longto shaas tene kura para jitri shito chigi tuk chugi kuyi tene chugu ki tuk tene kura sabwa mibi longto tene Shabba Mugongda Shugins Lekchi Nigar Zamsi Chijun na Sumi Paldin Lami Katin Laos Tepe Gewe Geltin Tarsanki Kendo Dewe Shila Chol Kirchi Kendo Dumi Shila Shishi Kata Di Tine Kaldin Di Zomlingi Lekbi Chamila Pengu Chunga Chiktam Tindagi Chiksonam Da Tozi Sa Yoba Inas Sumi Paldin Lami Katin Tang Sata Kyabi Tunjun Bushi Konglang Tang Tine Zogo Tungsi Tilindo Tungsi Tilindo Karishin Nang Indi Zamli Mujira Puni Rinpoche ke tene marta mungu jab tene re ma tuk re ya jar tene ya jata mungu jimidu tene ngi tene par tuk tene ta dangsa editing dewa tene nani tene nga ma nang chong ta didu se te kyo bari kyam ting se rinpoche nga parakshin nang chong ngi tango di deba chob ge zi ching rinpoche ke dema ngi ta chaka zi ma chen tene ma nang chong tene ti rinpoche nang nang shing sha shing sa nga ra jirwa zan tam mes te indi kana te tewe ke tene sumi palten la mi kachin la sa so ose tin na ru buche dang tene kyabjir buche dang te ngarang ge ta chunga lo jung che sa gla ma ti tene kyambu ta ser buche dang tene kyambu pe mo chujap ching kyaptal ta khon na ma ni di ta ngarang chi duru chi chik ji ya mi kha chang ya she ju dang chi pala chi rang ge chi yi chik du ji ji ju dang mi chik ju she ji de khon na ba sa ne jang gyo re ma ba ngal tok pa tene ya long de dol de jung buche na sin jimi mana ji ton tele shi ju ma yi na ji yo ma les te ngarang jangwa chi sa de khong na ba ni sa jangwa les te chö gi chi lab to ba zo ba shi mong tu ni dong se ren bu che ta na ngarang so o din jun bu che ta ni ta ngarang so o du chen se ren bu che do tu chen ren bu che ta pe man na ru ne yang ta ren bu che te khong na ba kun den ta ni so shu do se shu ba les te khong na ba la ka jin la sa chu me pa den la mi ka jin la Tepe gewe gyalten tarshin ke, ste te ngawa che ngi gewa tegi, te gyalwe tenpa tarshin gewa tang, ten kendo demi shila chunga, rowa ri chuksim chen tam che te gewa tila teni, shetok tu sang gewa kyo che, ste tsar. Te che pa odi yani da ngawa mawa, sita odi yani muran buche le, te da ngawa la shintu me pa terchen la me lombang yonge ta, tal tar to pa, chulming pe ma rizal, lam, dunjun buche ngal ming na yo te, jingme pema konsang nam jal san di pema risa san ni amyi ki me ta yo re tene jingme pema konsang nam jal pe se tun sang la tipa mangal lam
after quoting the colophon of Jidai Doji himself, which I just read through, then I wrote my own closing kind of colophon to the colophon in this commentary of mine. So the colophon reads, first of all, I wrote a verse of confession and apology, basically confessing, saying if there are any mistakes, contradictions or errors here in this commentary that I've made on this spontaneous song of supplication, that is actually an expression of the wisdom expanse, the wisdom realization of Samantabhadra, the Dharmakaya state. If there are any errors or misrepresentations or contradictions or the like, then I confess all of these openly. I apologize for that. I also say here that I wrote this commentary simply out of delight and inspiration, with delight and inspired by this supplication, not because actually someone requested me or told me to do it, but just inspired by the text and wanting to write this commentary. Then I wrote whatever came to mind, and if there are any faults within it, all of these I confess within the expanse of primordial purity. I confess within the expanse of primordial purity the Dharmakaya wisdom state that is no different from the wisdom state of Jidrayesha Dorji's own realized mind. So after this verse of confession, then I wrote a second verse of dedication, where I say, in simple terms, I say, if there is any merit or any virtue, any potential benefit in this commentary I've written, I dedicate it to the awakening and liberation of all sentient beings. So if there's any merit in this, if there's any possible merit, just like it's possible that there could be a star in the daytime sky, then all of this merit and benefit is due to the kindness of my own extraordinary gurus. So, namely Jidrayesha Dorji himself, Juju Rinpoche, and also the kindness of my guru Dungse Trinoba Rinpoche, as well as the other gurus from whom I received pointing out instructions, the great perfection instructions. So that includes Dilbu Khyentse Rinpoche, the late Penno Rinpoche, Yangtang Rinpoche, and Dorupchen Rinpoche, and so on. All of those great gurus. So if there's any benefit here whatsoever, it's all due to their great kindness. And in addition, due to the great kindness of my teachers, Khenpo Daoyose and Khenpo Chökyab, this commentary that I've written simply based on the education and the knowledge I have, and all my education and knowledge. The very fact that I can string a sentence together and even begin to think about writing something like this is all due to the kindness and the education given to me by these two Khenpos, Khenpo Daoyose and Khenpo Chökyab. Honestly, without them, all of my knowledge and everything I have to share with others is due to them, the education they gave me. Because this is not this commentary I wrote is not this supplication itself written by Jidrayesha Dorje. The supplication itself is something that just arose spontaneously within the wisdom realization of Dudjom Rinpoche. It was not like a kind of ordinary composition, whereas my commentary I just wrote from the perspective of my learning and conceptual understanding, not from the perspective of realization, because that I do not have. So anyway, all of this any potential benefit is due to my teacher's kindness, and all of this I dedicate to the spread and flourishing of the Buddha's teachings and to the liberation of all sentient beings, the liberation of all sentient beings within the primordial ground. And this commentary, after I wrote it, I showed it to Trininoba Rinpoche, Trininoba Rinpoche, and he actually made editing, you could say. He made quite a lot of corrections, and he first of all the commentary was 18.5 pages long, and then in the editing, Rinpoche he erased quite a few things so that now it's just 16 pages, and he made quite a few other corrections. So I inserted all of the corrections, all of his edits. And since then I haven't made any further changes. And actually after he did the editing, then he said, okay, now the commentary is okay, you can share it and teach it. So with these words then I conclude the commentary, and then the very final line is just the closing comment, closing colophon, which says, this was composed by this commentary on the This was composed by he with the name Pema Riksal, that he who is named as a Truku with the name of Pema Riksal or Jigme Pema Kunzang Namgyal. Pema Riksal is the name that was given to me by my grandfather, but Drujung Rinpoche gave me the name Jigme Pema Kunzang Namgyal. So I wrote this in the breaks between my sessions. This commentary on I wrote this in the breaks between my sessions, and Rinpoche also describes himself here as someone who sits at the very bottom of the row of those who are disciples of this great treasure revealer guru, namely Jira Yeshe Doje, who is a teacher of the pith instructions of Udayana, Guru Rinpoche. And then Sarva Mangalam, Mangalam, may all be auspicious. And with that, we finish the commentary as well. So Lama David suggested we chant this prayer, the spontaneous song of the genuine nature, all together once. So we'll do that now. We'll chant the prayer together, then dedicate the merit, and then tonight's session will be concluded.
Lama Geno, Chinchine Zavi, Lama Geno, Mondune Mingru, Judai Kada, Tenza, Jono, Banguru, Joba, Lama Ije Doje Dege Davi Danjana Dobra Jengera Loje Ranjane Manga Zonjo Zagi Zongo Londo Ngeba Roll bar Om Bhadra Guru Brahma